episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Tara Fugg from Hyperion, Raven Capelli of Sargentanus, Penelo Yggdrasil of Midgar-Sormer. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. What is up, currently, my fellow dudettes and dude-meisters? I am here to give the way lowdown on the ultra-keen new memes we have down yonder at the Meme Factory Mart. You will never feel bad, guy, knowing that your base is safely in our hands. We know you aren't always the man now, dog, but when you do, you are totally pound sign winning. Heckin' yeah! We know what you are seeking. You may totally have Ches Hamburger. Never gonna give up on your memes being dreams here at the Meme Factory Mart. Oh, really? Indeed, really. One does simply venture into Meme Factory Mart and pick up memes so good, they make Chuck Norris cry. Meme Factory Mart, brace yourself. Memes are coming to your house. Please note, memes may not actually make Chuck Norris cry. Chuck Norris is not affiliated with Meme Factory Mart in any way, shape, or fashion. Meme Factory Mart uses Chuck Norris likeness without consent. Meme Factory Mart is not responsible for any character-damaging meme that may arise for Chuck Norris. Every meme at Meme Factory Mart through July 1st has a 1 in 10 chance at dropping a code for a loot box for Final Fantasy XIV. Buy Stormblood today.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break with your hosts, Unhero.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kahlo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
Ascalia.
Holy shit, totally forgot about him.
And Nika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode 140.
We finally made it out of the 30s.
Ugh.
Felt like it took 20 episodes.
Oh
It
my
did
God.
feel like actually quite a while. Just
It
the
did.
30s alone for
It
some
did.
reason.
Thanks for joining us. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio starting at 4 p.m. It was a little bit after 4
Roughly.
p.m. today. Yeah, a little bit.
Thanks a lot, Nika.
I've
been here, man.
I'll tell you something. Keeping to an hour time limit for the Checkpoint Radio podcast to
Very
try
difficult.
to make sure that we start on time for this show, a little difficult. It's a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be.
You do it all the time on the Checkpoint Radio actual show.
Well, no, that's different, though. Like, we've got a countdown timer running the entire time. You know, like, if we don't get to something, it's different for a podcast because...
We'll have a countdown timer for a podcast.
No, well, we have a stopwatch, but at the same time, like...
He ignores it.
Yeah.
He was about to make some big, like, overblown excuse. Simply put, I do.
Yeah, kind of. Anyway, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Let's kick it on over to our Eorzean studios. If you want to join us, you can. That's on the Sargentana server. Goblet, 5th Ward, plot number 30. There's plenty of room.
But it's filling up fast, so you better get there really soon.
RSVP
Come get
now.
a seat so you can get the best spot in the house.
The only spot in the house.
It's really important to be there for a reason.
You guys are making me sad. Stop.
This game is making me sad.
You know what's really sad is my character isn't actually sitting in the chair. I'm just sitting on the floor that's raised above where the chair... Like, my character wouldn't sit in the chair.
Like
Why is the ground raised above where the chair is?
So,
Maybe that's the problem.
I don't know.
So when you typed /sit, like, what did he do?
He, like, sat like a cat does and, like, perched.
Oh, like
and then,
he's sitting on the ground?
Yeah, so I'm, like, sitting like, I'm in my chair all relaxed and cool.
But I don't see any ground that's raised up.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I mean, the ground is like normal, but my character just doesn't recognize that,
Yeah,
that
his
there's a chair
character's not
there.
recognizing the chair. Yeah, he's sitting like he's sitting on the ground.
So,
But on the chair, right?
Confirmed Juxta doesn't know how to sit in chairs.
I'm gonna try sitting. Let's see what happens.
Get away from me.
I'm sitting in the chair, so your character must just.
You're an
suck.
idiot.
It's not my fault.
It is exactly who else's fault would it be?
Wait. So
you designed the studio, and
Well, it's not the studio's fault. It's the game's fault. It's
I think
Yoshi P's fault.
this is user error.
How is that possibly user error?
So
Because it
Juxta,
worked when I did it.
if you sat through the chair and Nika just sat on the chair, did she just face sit you?
No, because his character's not that far down.
I'm sitting on the floor on the chair. Is
It's
the best
weird.
way I can
He's floor
describe
sitting
it.
on the chair.
That
Still, though, I think you had junk in your face for a second.
you definitely had junk in your face.
It wasn't
Sexy
even like
junk.
good junk.
No.
No.
Super
It was like
sexy
gross,
junk.
moldy,
Not even.
sweaty Rogadin junk.
Feminine charms.
I mean, if
Sexy feminine charms.
if a penis is feminine, sure.
Have you seen my junk? You don't know that it's a
No,
penis.
fortunately, thank God. No, but I mean, we've decided over time that listen,
You've decided the look
Femros-
of my genitalia.
no,
I'm so
femros
glad.
have penises.
Yeah, this isn't.
I'm so
all right.
glad that you have decided this,
Whoa.
but none of you are femros.
Whoa, Nika, don't even try to act like this is something that the three of us perpetrated on you specifically.
Yeah.
The entire population of FF14
You are
has
incorrect.
unanimously
That's right.
decided it.
That's right.
You are wrong.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
You're rude, Nika.
Listen, I'm just saying you might be a good contestant on, RuPaul's Drag Race, but I mean, just not sure.
America's Next Top Model.
I don't. I mean, have we progressed that far as a society yet? I don't know. Don't think we have. Just saying. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that we're not there yet.
Uh-huh.
Who's Rupert Paul?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Rutabaga Paul?
Listen, RuPaul's awesome. I wouldn't be ashamed of that, Nika.
Is that the guy who was in Queen?
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Credit that to Gallant CP in the chat.
Yes.
That was pretty good, Gallant. GG.
Nika, I think that needs. We need to do a fashion. We need to do one of those stupid
Role play fashion shows.
Yeah, like one of those glamour competitions, and we're gonna call it. We're gonna just RuPaul's Drag Race. There we go.
Sure.
You're gonna judge it.
Sure. You got it.
Cool.
Done. Well, I guess
Well, there's a problem though.
what?
The whole play part in role playing means we have to play.
Well, Nika
Nika has
Nika's
to.
gotta
Oh,
do
he
it.
gets to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
There we
As long
go.
as I can judge your
I'm
guys.
glad. I'm glad that they.
And I can make fun of your junk on stage too.
Oh, we're not gonna be on stage.
No, we're not playing.
This is you.
Yeah, you're the only one that actually plays this game.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's on you.
You know, it was really
You're
funny
not wrong.
when Anira was logging in to go sit down. They saw someone running in the background, and Jux's like, "Who is that that's playing? You target them, find out who it is."
And it was Nika.
I knew who it was. Yeah, just right off.
I
I'm like,
went to
"Who
go
else?"
change my glamour. That's what I was already in the studio. Then I'm like, wait, I need a Santa outfit, so I ran out to get one.
God.
I remember when I cared about my glamour.
Well, they're updating how the glamour is going to be doing.
Oh no, my God!
Oh yay!
I can't wait to get into this discussion.
I'm getting physically nauseous.
Thanks for joining us today. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio is where you can find us. By the way, we do take your live calls, so go ahead, line them up. Kooky Persona is on standby and ready to take your calls. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord if you'd like to join us on Discord. We'd love to hear from you because
I am
we've got
super eager to hear what people have to say about this live letter.
yeah, because
Playing is not a requirement to calling in. You can.
that's right.
The extra large live letter.
That's right, because just as we've established previously that listen, you don't have to actually play the game to do a podcast about it, so you don't have to actually play to call in. No, we're kidding, but we would.
Are you though?
Well, I mean, semi-kidding. That's the thing, though, is that the way that Square-Enix structures this game, yeah, that's pretty much what they've said to everyone, is that you don't need to log in every month, even. You know what I mean? Like, just stay current on the story if that's what you want.
Hey, if you've played it once, you've played all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, go play some Blade and Soul. That's fine.
You know, maybe just not play the game until the next expansion is about to come out, and then play all of Stormblood, and then and then just cancel your sub.
There's a lot of people who have called in and written into the show saying that that's exactly what they've done.
There might be wisdom in that,
and that they're having a good time, and that, you know what, I mean, clearly this isn't a game or an MMO that you need to log into every day to be able to stay current. Yeah, they don't. That's not what they want.
This is the Pokemon Go of MMOs.
Kind of. Yeah, play as you go. You're not going to be left out of anything. Don't worry about it. There's always going to be moments to catch up.
Yep.
There's nothing exclusive. Nothing will ever disappear. It'll always kind of be there. Just wait long enough and it'll come back.
And it'll come back in the cash shop.
Pokemon Go when they're going to bring back all those legendaries people have been missing.
Yeah, we kind of do.
Yeah,
they're coming back.
They'll come back.
There'll be a legendary weekend where every raid is a legendary, and they're all just different legendaries. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah. They'll start rotating them through.
Yeah, it's going to be like holiday events. Like, yeah. It's going to happen. There's never not going to be
a legendary raid up,
or like there's never not going to be an ability to get one of the legendaries. You know, there's at some point there might be limited windows for it,
but there's going to be
yeah.
You can always get a certain legendary in the future,
and that's the same way that FF14 structures itself. Don't worry about it if you don't get it. You know,
but if I don't play right now, I'm going to be so far behind on my relic.
That's okay.
There is.
That's okay, because you know what, your tome weapon is not going to be that far behind your relic.
But the relic is important because there's a very intricate storyline attached to it.
It's not even in there yet.
No,
and it's really important to stay current on it so you can see my dedication.
Is it?
Yes.
No, it's not, because nobody actually judges you for not having it.
Well, they shouldn't.
Well, they don't. I mean,
do.
Well. Yeah, okay, when you're queuing up for pugs.
And elitist Nika strikes again. It's been a while since we've seen you.
Let's be honest, the people who raid are raiding. You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones that are going to care. Like, there's such a divide between the raid scene and just getting,
you know what?
Just logging in for a couple of hours going, okay,
yeah, I'm right.
done. And that's what they want to encourage. Like, think about the amount of time sink that you have to put in to do raiding, and there's nothing else to do at that level or that commitment level.
Any crossover that did exist between the casuals and the raid, I think, was destroyed in Heaven's Ward, or no, sorry. Yeah, in Heaven's Ward with the Alexander raids going easy mode, because now you either do easy mode or you don't.
Yeah, exactly. There's and we had identified that the story incentive that existed behind binding Coil of Bahamut threw way more people into the raid scene than probably had right to be there. And just as we saw, listen, we're we'll get to this. We'll get to Live Letter XL here in just a second. But all the evidence of this that you need to see is on display in the duty viewer feature, right? The rewind and play, the basically DVR for duties.
The duty recorder?
That's it, yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
Because here's the thing, is that to use it requires the consent of everyone in your party. Because, of course,
Does it?
It does.
Awesome.
I did not read that.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, say that again?
You can only save 3 of them.
What?
You can only save 3 of them, and it requires it's a separate queue that you're throwing yourself into, and it requires the consent of everyone.
Oh my gosh!
The duty recorder
being used.
Yeah.
What?
No, it'll be used.
I mean, it'll be used by raiders and by people who like to take cool screenshots.
By a very small percentage of people.
But God for fucking bid that anyone ever have this used to have their poor performance called out on them.
I'd like to point out, you know what, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we will.
We'll get to it.
So anyway, Yeah, that we're going to get to that in just a few minutes.
That happened
again. We're just kind of dipping our toe into it to encourage you guys to call, because I think everyone who still plays this game is probably, even if you don't play this game anymore, is going to feel some kind of way. This is a galvanizing live letter that we have here. So Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We want to hear from you. Line your calls up.
You feel something. We want to know what.
Do you feel it in your heart?
Do you feel it in your wang?
Do you feel really?
Nutter's gonna nut.
I thought we would at least we would at least volley it back and forth once
straight to
before we got into the
baby
genital reference.
I don't foreplay. I just go straight for the climax.
And now we know why you have a child.
I mean, you know, beat it and get it out.
What? Beat it and get it out. That is the exact opposite of what got you into this situation, sir.
I can't even applaud you for the effort.
If you had beat it and got it out, you would have never had a child.
I mean, after you beat it, then it's in, so it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get out.
What?
Right?
What? What?
Go ahead and explain that one.
All right, so when you beat it and you beating it off, right? You get off, and then it's in there. It doesn't matter how fast you get it out, whether it's like 1 second or like you just leave it in there for a couple days. It's in there.
What are you beating off? Like what?
The nut.
Who beats off in a vagina? At that point, you're having sex.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's not beating off. Those are two vastly different things, which is exactly what I was saying. If you had beat off instead of getting a vagina involved in the equation, you would not be a father, and you would have saved $500,000 over the course of 18 years.
You know,
yeah, but I'm gonna get like
$250,000. Sorry.
I'm getting like $3,000 back at tax time, so it works out even in the end.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
You know what's most hilarious about this is at one point our producers for Checkpoint was like, "Why don't we try and market Limit Break Radio? Send them this like 30-second conversation and see what they have to say."
I like that the camera's holding just on Nika's stone face. Like, can you even believe this shit right now? That's all that and complete with the Santa hat and everything.
What?
It's amazing.
She's a girl and she likes dicks.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, help support this content. I don't know why you would. Patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. $20 pledge.
I'm a girl. I like dicks.
Oh, that was on time
that
too.
took you
Thank you.
a long time to find.
I actually had it ready like 3 seconds earlier, but I just waited for a longer time.
Oh, good.
I doubt that.
Anyway, Patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Get in on the postcards from Eorzea, which the latest preview went up. What was that? Yesterday or today?
I think it went up yesterday. The cards went out Monday or Tuesday, though.
So yeah, if you want Santa Nero. Which I'm not the Grinch. I'm kind of surprised. If you want Santa Nero, then
and your little reindeer fell.
You kind of missed it. Kind of missed it. Sorry to say.
Why'd you put a Lalafell in a reindeer suit?
I didn't. I don't know that I did that. That was up to the artist. Why ask the artist? I didn't draw this.
Why do you think
it was an interpretation?
Oh,
like if we were to introduce that into the canon, why would a Nero have put a Lalafell into a reindeer
I mean,
suit?
most likely like Harvey Weinstein purposes. I'm just gonna.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know. No. That's probably what the implication is.
Now we are the Spaceys.
Yeah. Anyway. So if you wanted that postcard, you missed it. But if you want to get in on future postcards, head on over to patreon.com/Limit Break Radio.
The next one is so good.
What is it?
It's Escalia.
Oh,
and technically,
that's his last.
It probably shouldn't be him because he's no longer on this show. But it was decided ahead of time, so we're going to keep it. So if you would like the last vestige of Escalia,
that's right. If you are a true Escasual. And you want to remember Escalia in his reign of glory on this show.
Well, the terms I
reign
use.
I just love the number 6 for no reason.
If that then
yeah. Patreon.com/limitbreakradio, $20 pledge. You'll get that done.
Give us money.
Anyway, because we talked about this a little bit last week, to update everyone on the Patreon situation, Patreon back down, and they're not going to be changing anything.
That surprised me, actually.
Cowards.
I mean, it did surprise me, but I mean, at the same time, and I went into a little bit greater detail about this on this week's Final Encountercast, I still kind of didn't know how to feel about it, because I felt like the creators that I would hear argue against it, or say that it was a really bad move, they sounded a lot like the YouTube algorithm whiners.
And when it came down to it, they were essentially just doing with donations what PayPal does, right?
Yes, technically.
Okay, I couldn't have really argued with that, so
I don't know. So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So anyway,
Called it.
yeah, you did.
Called it.
Wait, did he?
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. I don't think he did.
I pretty much say everything, so I'm probably right some of the time.
Oh, okay. Are you the Simpsons of our show? You've just said enough bullshit that eventually some of it's going to be right.
Yeah, that's how all my prophecies come true. Well, some of them. If I just prophesize everything, I'm technically right.
Okay.
Can I mute him?
Yeah.
All right, mute.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, yeah, give us a call here on Limit Break Radio. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Before we get into the news, let's go to our phone lines and talk.
Whoa.
What?
Already?
Yeah. Because we got a caller this early. Why not? Let's go to
This is how you do the call line, by the way, Juxta.
Yeah.
How?
I mean, just have it ready to go?
And just do it.
Ready.
Yeah, because all of that scrambling that I just saw you do implies that it's totally ready.
Okay, you know what? Fine. Peek behind the curtain. She says he knows after the news. I'm like, oh, okay.
No. We're gonna go before the news. No,
It's fine.
Don't try to blame this on Kooky.
Yeah,
He's ready.
we're gonna go. We're gonna go to Keta Mercer of Zalera. What's going on, Keta?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Thanks for calling us here on Limit Break Radio.
Hello.
No problem. So I want to just talk about real quick a topic you guys brought up 2 weeks ago on about Eurogamer and that whole interview that they had with Yoshi P.
Yes.
You can be a little bit more specific. What was the interview?
So it specifically delved into how Yoshi P's development mentality has affected the company as a whole.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I like the direction you guys went with the whole discussion of it, but I want to delve back the more, how does this affect the whole mentality of the whole company in future games? And so Yoshi P's style of getting quote unquote fan feedback and how you can fix things, over time to improve how the game is received from its initial release. We saw that with 1.0 of 14.
Sure.
He says that he did a crazy feat of reviving the game to what it is in 2.0, but I don't think we necessarily want to see games have to be fixed all the time and be repaired to get somewhat of a functional game.
Okay, now that's fair. That's fair. However, I don't think that we can look at the 1.0 to 2.0 transition and go, that's entirely Yoshi P, because he was brought in at the tail end of it to fix a lot of what Tanaka had put into place, and he was not even a part of the original team for 1.0. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just leading into something else, but it's just that him having that mentality affecting say also 15.
Okay,
that would be I think a better example.
Yeah. I'm just setting up the whole situation, for people who may not have heard. But Yoshi P coming in, for 2.0 to fix what happened in 1.0, and the game was well received, and it fixed a lot of things that needed to be changed. But this whole patchiness, how we can see in 15 saying that it's okay to fix a game even though it wasn't initially well received, and just the whole cycle how we've seen 15 progress with all these patches, all the DLCs and everything, and these were things that I would have liked to see from the beginning. I just don't want to see developers become stagnant and say, okay, we can just fix it later because we know that they'll stick around.
Well, but let's look at the kind of the other side of that coin, though. What's the alternative decision? Okay, the alternative decision to trying to turn around 1.0 to 2.0 is taking the loss at 1.0 and never even attempting, cutting your losses and moving on to the next thing, which was a possibility with FF14 and with 1.0.
And with 15. They could have easily said, oh, there's a lot wrong with it, but, let's just cut our losses here and continue and move on to the next one, rather than giving the fans what they were waiting for and continuing support for the game, which is the same thing that 14.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that you can exactly draw the parallel there, because I think you've got to look at 13 and 15 and compare the two tactics of those series.
But nobody wanted 13 sequels. People actually wanted different DLCs.
Hang on. Well, but you're right, though. I think that you're largely correct, Nika, that instead of getting Final Fantasy 15-2, we're getting 2 rounds of DLC, which fans of the game are finding very satisfying, and those that really were lukewarm on the game aren't really engaging with. And I think that that's the same amount of audience return that you got on Final Fantasy 13-3 and then 2 and then Lightning Returns, right? So if you're going to have the same consumptive pattern, why not scale back the production and really not limit it or relegate it, but make that DLC instead? I think that that's actually remarkably smart from a business standpoint on the part of Square-Enix.
I think one of the bigger overarching problems here is that when we talk about the rest of the business taking cues from Yoshi P, the way you develop for an MMO and the way you develop a single-player game, to me, should be 2 completely different things.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I totally agree. Although I do think that you can see some cues being borrowed in 15's development, absolutely, from the way that they were able to restructure and bring about FF14 for 2.0 and beyond. And again, I do think that while we kind of criticize the FF14 development team for a lot of things, including it's another fight against a single mob in a circular arena. There are probably technical reasons why they use that as their initial base to draw off of. Is it any more entertaining for the audience? No, not necessarily. And that's what they need to be held accountable on. But can they take that and apply that to other games and other single-player games? Yes, absolutely. Sure. And the reason I think that is because FF14 at its core plays much more like a single-player game than it does like an MMO.
I can agree to that.
Right? So in that respect, I do think that they can take things that they've learned from FF14 and apply that to development projects and development structures moving forward, because it is a very modular way of being able to design content. At the same time, it is also very monotonous and samey and is very kind of like ubiquitously fair to everyone, which I given some of the challenges associated with having to moderate the community around FF11, I can understand why to Square-Enix that would be appealing, but as a player does not translate into satisfying gameplay. So I do understand why it would concern you, but at the same time, I'm not sure that your takeaway is necessarily exactly what they were implying either. So yeah. So I think it I think it could go either way. Kelda, thank you for the call. Do you have any shout outs before we let you go?
No. Thanks for having me on the show. One quick story, real quick. So I've been listening to a lot of your podcasts, your older podcasts, just like when I'm at work or like driving home and stuff.
Oh, thanks for listening, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. And it was so fun. So I listened to you guys in the car this one time, and it was kind of loud. I'm in the stoplight right now.
Sure.
And so it was a story. Like, you guys just came back from FanFest, and Juxta just put this drop out. Eat my dick, and it just shouted throughout my whole car, and you can just see this lady right next to me, like just her in her head is like, what the hell is he listening to? Eat my dick!
I was hoping that was going to go in a completely different direction, like there was a cop with his window down right next to me.
No, she just like quickly drives off when it turns green, and it's just like, yeah, that was an awkward moment.
Oh my God, yes.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Dude, Kelda, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We'd love to hear about awkward stories about you listening to the show in, I don't know, maybe at work or really loud in the car, because, yeah, listen, I don't even listen to the show at full volume in my own car because I'm just like, oh, you're still on mute.
It's dangerous.
I'm sorry.
That was a good thing. I really needed to get that comment out.
Did you?
Dangerous?
Yeah.
Did you almost crash listening to us before?
I mean, have you not?
No.
I mean, every once in a while we do get, I mean, like, going back and listening on the replay, I end up laughing to myself. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we're actually really, really funny
and we're
people.
Hysterical. What the fuck?
Sometimes I just start laughing and I can't concentrate on anything, and I cry. And then I poo a little.
Nika, what was
most of our humor relies on dick jokes and
yeah, they're so funny.
Jokes and
poo jokes,
pee jokes.
I check out of those.
Dick in poo jokes.
Do you dick into the jokes?
What?
She said she dicks into the jokes.
I check out.
I don't understand that. You check out? Oh, like you check out the jokes? Like, oh yeah, that's a great joke.
You continue to think that.
Nika thinks that her humor is above us. By the way, Nika, did you know there's a Pokemon that looks like Donald Trump?
God damn it.
Yeah, there is. It's so funny.
I'm just gonna...
It's actually the Trubbish, the piece of garbage Pokemon.
Okay, that's funny.
God damn it, Nika.
Why, Nika? We could have just...
Validated.
We could have just let it
fester and rot and
hang
smell
out
even
there
worse,
and
like garbage it was.
Yeah. Let's check out what's going on in FF14 news.
This is a Limit Breaking News update.
Well, this past week saw a small update with patch 4.18, which added added a few changes of note. Such changes include a change in the number of Deltascape crystalloids required to obtain your weapon, as well as removing the weekly limit for said crystalloids.
Ooh, get hype!
Thank you.
Ooh, get hype! Okay.
In Deltascape
Do I need to take your drops away too?
No.
Okay.
The weekly reward limit was also removed, along with the weekly restrictions, and players can now proceed to any section of the raid at will. They also made some small changes to PvP.
Ooh, get hype!
And now I can just face bash 04 every day.
How hyped for that are you?
Are you excited? Are you excited, Nika?
I mean, people are like, scheduling, it sucks, it's horrible, I hate this rated structure, I'm so over it.
What's wrong? What's
scheduling? Go back.
Yeah, like final exams and then holidays and family and things. Like, we can't even raid.
Sad.
And then Star Wars, like we missed raid because I was at Star Wars. So.
Oh, Nika!
Wow, you're that guy.
Wow.
I hope you got minus 50 DKP for that.
Yeah, seriously. You ruined the night.
Star Wars is worth it.
I logged in and was like, all right, I guess I can go finish getting the rest of my crystalloids now on reset day. And then I noticed I didn't have enough tomes for it, so I'm like, fuck it. We announced last episode that the Starlight Festival was returning, but with no rewards. Turns out we were wrong. It happens sometimes, and we know when to admit it. So if you haven't, go get your holiday bear mount, complete with Santa hat.
Oh, that is cute. I need him.
This is so stupid.
I don't know.
Have you seen it flying?
Yeah, I have.
It's really stupid.
It flies?
Well, hold on, Nero. As a
at least listen.
As an ex-warrior, doesn't this like upset you because now anybody can get a bear?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
This bear has a cuter teddy bear face. The warrior bear looks meaner than this.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, okay.
It has definitely a derpy face for sure.
It's a teddy bear face.
It's got a derp face.
Can we call it the Juxta Bear from now on then?
I mean,
because he has a derp face.
You can't use mounts in houses.
It does look like it's got an extra chromosome in the gene pool. So.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it means you're retarded.
Oh, okay.
No, Juxta, that means that you're...
Isn't the chromosome thing is like what makes you a girl or a guy? So are you just calling like all the girls retarded? Wow.
Just move on. Just move on.
Okay. Along with the Starlight celebration, Square-Enix has announced another screenshot contest. The theme? Festive. Duh. You can find full details over the Lodestone. There will be 100 winners selected, and the prizes are, of course, the usual suspects. However, 10 grand prize winners will receive a holiday version of the Fat Chocobo plushie, so good luck.
Whatever.
I want that.
Apparently, if you are Frosty or Nariko Star, you just get one sent to you from Square Enix.
Okay, well,
why did they get one?
They're both pretty cool.
Well, I don't. Frosty?
Really?
Okay,
Wow.
Well, Nariko's pretty cool.
No, fuck Frosty. Frosty's an asshole.
What has Frosty ever done?
Wait, what show does he do? Or did?
Mog Talk? Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah, fuck them. They did that one subject where it was like, we're going to interview a couple married in the game or something. It was terrible.
What?
Wow.
Fuck Frosty.
Yeah, that was an actual episode they
Frosty's a
did.
nice
Fuck
dude.
Frosty.
Why are we fucking him?
I mean, obviously nobody else will.
Because he talks mad shit over Twitter. And
Isn't it mad passive-aggressive shit, too?
But are you fucking serious? Can you not tell that fucking Frosty and I are locked into a fucking like
Dragon Ball Z fight?
No, we're like locked into a Curb Your Enthusiasm bit over Twitter that neither of us know how to get out of. So every time he gets brought up, I have to be like, fuck Frosty.
I feel like I need to save you guys now.
But see, all I'm thinking about is that it's the holidays and you're being really mean to a cute snowman right now.
Moving on.
Wow.
What?
Can we
way to go, Juxta. That was a terrible joke, and we're gonna let you sit on that.
Awful.
That's almost as bad as Kahlo jokes.
That it's holidays and I'm a kindergarten teacher, and all I think of when I hear Frosty is Frosty the Snowman, and everyone's saying fuck Frosty, and it's mean.
Just
you
double.
know what has validated my.
You know what? Double fuck Frosty and that stupid snow bitch. I'd fucking if I saw Frosty the Snowman in front of me, I'd punch off of his stupid fucking magic hat, and then I'd put the magic hat on my dick
and pee on it.
And I'd make him be my dick.
You're so mean.
Frosty the Dick Man.
Wow, that humor was.
I love you, Daddy.
At all. So good job.
I don't even know what to think anymore.
Would it turn? Do you think it would turn my dick Frosty cold like into a miniature snowman?
No,
or would he just be like the living embodiment of my dick?
No, the hat just brings whatever it's on alive.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so your dick would just become sentient.
Right, like a little face, a little animated face would appear on the tip of my helmet.
But because it's part of
the fact that all of our humor revolves around dick jokes.
Because it's part of you, it would just basically be a little Aniro.
Yeah, that's right.
That's terrible.
A little dicker.
Could you even put up with that?
No, I couldn't.
Like,
do you know how many
guy where like a Peter grows out of Peter's shoulder, but like on your dick?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah. Yeah, no, listen, I have enough bad dick thoughts that I have to swat out of the, consciousness on my own free will. Give it a mind of its own. It's all over. Then I just make bad dick decisions
it would be
for the rest of my
worse
life.
Because just like when it's not sentient, you still only have enough blood to run one or the other.
Listen, I already made one bad dick decision this year, and I got mono out of it. Okay, I don't need another one.
All right,
where did you put your dick?
Huh?
Where'd you put your dick?
It was
Tinder.
It wasn't where I put my dick. It was where I put my mouth. But the decision came from the dick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Can we move on now, please?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
So tons of details were released with the producer live letter, which of course we will be discussing shortly. But one of the biggest announcements out is that the next Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival date has been revealed. Next year in November, the 15th through the 17th, the North American Fan Fest will take place in Las Vegas, followed by the European one in Paris, France in early 2018, and the Japanese one the weekend of March 23rd, 2018 in
19.
Tokyo. It's
2019, it says on the outline.
It's supposed to be 18 though.
Why does it say 19?
I don't know why it says 19. That's a good question.
That doesn't seem to make sense at all.
Fan Fest, who's going? Woo woo, hype.
What are you talking? It's going to be 2018 in less than a month.
Right, so it's next year.
November 15th through 17th in 2018, right? Then in Paris in early 2019.
Oh, so 2019 was right. Dang.
What the fuck fuck is wrong with you? Do you not know how calendars work?
Just had a complete brain malfunction there. My bad.
mean, if you heard us in the car on the way up here, yeah, we don't know how calendars work.
Holy fucking shit.
Don't even bring that up. Oh my god.
We were convinced that patch 3.5 lasted 18 months.
Wow.
Stop.
You're an idiot.
Just stop.
Hey, he helped.
I was playing Pokemon. You were the one going through it in your head. You were all on your own.
To FanFest next year. Who else?
I would have
thinking about sending Strife with you.
I think that would have been
Strife with me.
Listen.
Whoa.
This would have been a brilliant marketing maneuver if Square-Enix had come out and announced the North American Fan Festival had happened last month. Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
People would have been so upset.
Well, that's what he was implying, was that they came out and announced that the North American Fan Fest would happen in November of 2017. That's what he was implying.
I fucked up. I'm sorry.
You fucking idiot. Anyway, all right, FanFest 2018 is happening, and it's 2018-2019. So of course the big date that everyone, it's going to be most relevant to our audience, is going to be the November 15th through 17th date. So we are definitely looking at our options on getting out there, and we are going to be looking at possibly doing another after party.
Fuck yeah.
So stay tuned for announcements on that, but we will have some sort of presence out there.
Wouldn't be a fan fest without Limit Break Radio.
I mean,
of course not.
The last fan fest where we sent literally everyone was pretty special because that was our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, that, and we liked the game too.
Well, there's that too.
And all of us were there, which just made it special.
Yeah.
That's what Nero just said.
Yeah.
He sent everybody.
He said it was special because of the anniversary. But
no,
it was
we all went.
all of us were there.
We all went because it was 10 years.
It's the holidays. Let's talk about friendship and how we actually like each other.
We all went because we were celebrating 10 years and
nobody likes Skirl.
FanFest. This year we may not be able to take everyone from the cast out there.
Which won't make it as special because everyone went last year, which made it special.
I mean, maybe we can make some Patreon stretch goals to like bring Ascalia out to FanFest or something.
Fuck that
if you guys really want us to figure out
actually, you know what,
the math of that works.
I think we do need a Scully, because how else are we gonna like find everyone? We can't just be like, meet at the giant pink head.
Really tall guy with pink hair.
Yeah. By the way,
that was special.
This year not at the Paris. This year going back to the Rio.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it wasn't the reason they moved away from the Rio because they could only sell so many and it sold out so quickly. I thought that was the reason they didn't do the Rio a second time around.
I have no idea.
Well,
it was a better location, but it was...
That's what I was just about to ask. Having been to both the Rio and the Paris, which did you guys prefer?
I thought the Rio was better.
Yeah. I'm going to say the Rio.
I really thought that the reason is because they couldn't sell as many tickets because the space was smaller.
I'm going to be honest. I felt like the space in the Paris was like actually a lot small. I felt way more cramped in the Paris than I ever did in the Rio. And maybe it was because of those stupid fucking, we're going to make it look like the streets of Paris goddamn nonsense. But I felt I was way more comfortable in the Rio. I don't know.
I mean,
I've only been to the one, so I can't.
I've only been to them.
Yeah, Nika, you were supposed to jump on that.
No, mine was I liked the space in the Rio better, but I felt like it was not as big.
Yeah, it probably. I mean,
space was better.
Which is
I thought it was.
Which is weird if Nika was correct about them picking the Paris to sell more tickets if it was a smaller area.
I think that they're going to have less tickets than the previous year.
But the subscriber count is as big as it's ever been and growing.
Stop lying. We know that that's not true.
It's growing.
No. It's not.
Like a dick, that's hard.
So here's the question is that, I mean, we know that this means that they're going to be announcing a expansion out there.
Well, Yoshi P has recently in an interview said that he's already done the storyboards for the opening sequence.
So here's the question: what is our expectation post Stormblood? I mean, now
I'm pretty sure they said that we'd be going to Garlemald in 5.0.
Yeah, we know that.
Is that 100% for sure?
He spoiled that.
I mean, he said that back in
like, NA.
Well, hold on. He did. Look, things can be, unless it's specifically stated in stone, which he did not say, guys, 5.0 is Garlemald. it could change.
Yeah.
And as we've learned from Stormblood, that guess what? Going to fucking Alamigo might not mean going to fucking Alamigo.
Right.
Oh, we're going to Garlemald. There's one little cutscene in a dungeon in Garlemald, and then we actually go over to where the fucking Final Fantasy 12 shit took place, and we actually helped them rebel and break free of the Garlemald bonds. But guess what? We went to Garlemald.
Gisela in the chat saying Garlemald dungeon. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we've been to Garlemald.
Yeah.
Technically, we've already been to Garlemald because again, when we went to Rebanaster, that's Garlean controlled territory.
Yeah,
Garlean space station.
So, but I mean, like, what what are the actual expectations at this point for 5.0? In terms of content?
I don't have expectations.
Because, I mean, are we just going to see kind of the same pale copy-paste in terms of content that we've seen from Heavensward to Stormblood? Or do they have to, at this point, start, meaningfully adding shit to do that's not dungeons, that's not...
See, we said they had to do that with Stormblood, and they didn't.
Well, but they did if they wanted to retain the same amount of subscribers. And we've seen the fruits of what they've been reaping, and it's less subscribers.
10 million subscribers?
That's what we see in the game, but based on the attitude that they have when promoting their product,
you got to
they believe what they're doing is working.
Stop. No. Stop. Promoting and saying, like, putting that as your quote unquote best foot forward, that's different from actually having the data and having to respond to the data. They have the real data, and they're not. Square Enix, you can say a lot of things about them, but you can't say that they're dumb enough to be able to read the data wrong. They're interpreting the data to their audience in a way that doesn't make them look bad. And they can say that because technically, oh yeah, the amount of trial accounts that they got is up above 10 million. Fine. Fine. They're fudging the facts to be able to market their product. That is different. They do actually have to respond to data trends, which is what we see with our eyes and what we see when we log into the game every fucking time we log in.
So what are your expectations then?
And this whole damn your lying eyes bullshit that they're trying to spin with their marketing, it doesn't work on me. So we know that the data is telling a massively different story than what their marketing says, because their marketing can't say, oh, well, we've lost 5 million accounts in the last... They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So they're not going to be honest about that. So we've got to look with our own eyes and use our own judgment to be able to talk about it. My expectation, first of all, is that we're going to get free to play. That's when it's going to happen. Yeah. So they're going to pull the trigger at 5.0.
Okay.
We're going to get free to play.
You still have to buy the expansion, though, right?
You still got to buy the expansion.
A free to play model.
Right. Yes.
Okay. If you're willing to still give them your money, they're going to take it.
That's exactly it. Well, it's probably going to be, it's much more likely that it's going to be a hybrid model a la what Elder Scrolls Online
Well, actually, look at the fact that because right now you can already do the free trial up to level 30.
Right.
35.
And to 35. And Yoshi P said going forward, I think he said he'd like to raise that to 50 or 60. That is essentially a free-to-play mode.
Kinda.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's not far off.
That's so like the whole base game, practically.
Yeah, it's everything except what you do when you get to cap, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Which is supposedly the reason that you should shell out $12.99 a month, which is, as we've identified, been getting smaller and smaller and less enticing as time goes on. There is a point where they do have to switch from trying to bring new people in, because that well will have dried up, and they have to switch to trying to retain people that have either given it a shot. And they've tried to do it through PvP, and it has not worked out every time. Oh, my
gosh.
Don't get me started. It has really blown up on them trying to do this through PvP. So I think if Square Enix was smart, that they would just say, you know what, we're good with the PvP where it is. You've got 3 modes. Maybe we'll do an occasional new map, but this whole nonsense of like we're going to try to make PvP in FF14 actually genuinely competitive.
Tournament.
Stop. No. It's not happening.
Ranked matches.
Make your game good first.
It's not happening. And all you have to do is go look at the leaderboards. Look at how many people are actually participating in this shit. It's not working. And Square Enix can't deny that data. They can deny it to us all they want. They can't deny it to themselves. So they've got to do something with FF14. And if they keep doing the copy and paste thing, you know what I mean?
Don't die.
FF14 as a product that continues to put out expansions is probably not going to last that long.
Copy and paste killed 1.0. Copy and paste will kill 2.0.
Well, I mean, it'll be
3.0 and 4.0 and
5.0 at that point, but I get your point.
I don't know. I mean, all right. First of all, it's
a different kind of copy and paste.
The free to play, or at least the hybrid free to play model, I can see that happening. You're right, absolutely. Other than that, I don't know what kind of expectations to put on it, because I know that whatever I want or hope for isn't going to happen.
I don't know if we're even going to get a relic quest in 5.0. Because they keep on pushing it back farther and farther and farther. I don't think they like the relic quest.
I don't think they do. I think you're right.
Well, because they don't know how to do it in a new way that will appease people. Nothing will be as good as the first stage of the original relic.
Honestly, I think the reason that Square Enix second guesses their content so often is just because of how fair it would be to everyone, which is a really bad reason to second guess a piece of content. Anyway, so in terms of expectation for let's take it off the serious, right? And let's have a little bit of fun with the speculating for the last 5 minutes that we have in our first hour here. What new jobs would you expect?
Okay, for starters,
Blue Mage.
Are we getting jobs or one job in 5.0? 3, 2, 1.
I reasonably expect 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2.
Anything less than
2.
Anything less than 2 will make shows like ours light our hair on fire.
I'm gonna go with the full-on FF11 nostalgia play, Blue Mage and Beastmaster.
No,
and they're both going to be so terrible. Like, they're not going to be what people want whatsoever.
No, Beastmaster can't work.
It will not.
It will not. It will not.
Pet jobs.
Yeah, it will not work in FF14. It just won't. Although I do think Blue Mage is probably a good guess.
You know what? I think we're not going to get a new job. I think we're going to get a new race instead.
Why not both?
I don't know. They hated doing that before.
Because a new race is basically comparable roughly to a new job.
When it comes to work being put into it.
Yeah, work put out. Work put in. I think we're going to get a new race, and it's going to be Viera.
Viera wouldn't surprise me. They gave enough little sort of small hints that it could be possible, but I don't think that they would not put in jobs. Or we would see either the jobs or the race delayed and get it sort of like halfway through.
See, but the thing is that the way that they're doing jobs and the way that they're adding jobs and doing job balancing, it's nothing to add a job anymore.
It's easier than it was.
It's most of the work that you're doing is not in balancing calculations. It's in animation.
In fact, doing a whole new race might be more work than having to do a single job. But no, I think, fine, they come up with VR right at the beginning, and then in 5.25, we get a new job. No. 5.45, here's another new job. Sorry, we wanted to get them out at launch with the expansion, but gosh, our developers, they were just so overworked and tuckered out.
No, there's no way they can add a new job mid-expansion anymore, because they saw the fiasco that Rogue and Ninja made. There's no way they would ever do that again.
I don't know. I feel like that was different because I don't know. We don't know when that development was started. Like, if they decided in the middle of it, let's start making a new job. Like, if it's something that they do most of the development in the expansion development period, and then, fine-tuning it just happens to take a patch longer. I don't know.
What jobs could come out of Garlemald possibly?
Judge.
If Garlemald is the direction that we're pushing,
it's got to be a tank and a healer, right? Because we just got all those DPS, and there's no way that they're going to sell us another expansion where don't worry, the queues are going to be fine.
I think.
Oh my God, this is something I wanted to bring up early. If you have 2 separate fucking queues for duty recorder and non-duty recorder, you're going to fuck up your queue times even more.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that's exactly how it works.
I hope not.
That'd be funny. I think maybe
it's probably going to be a toggle on the thing.
We're either going to get one job, a tank or a healer, or we're going to get 2 jobs, both DPS.
They can't do 2 DPS anymore.
You think?
No way.
We thought that before too.
After seeing how
when they make tank and healer jobs, the only people that play them were the people that already played them.
No, they're going to have to. I mean, that's the thing, though, is that there's going to be, you're right though with queue times though, because queue times are the big thing that you have to balance in there.
They literally did not care about queue times. We saw that.
The only other option they have, and they can't go this way because fairness and balancedness, would be a hybrid job that could do one or the other.
No, see, no, that's not. That's
no. I
never
realize.
happen.
I know it's
never going to happen.
Never.
But the thing is, though, is that again, Square Enix can't ignore the data, and I've been seeing more and more people saying that they're quitting FF14 because the queue times for doing any of the dailies are so ridiculous as DPS that the game doesn't function.
The only people that I know that log on like to role play, to do shit that isn't even technically in the game.
So, I do think that Square Enix can't ignore that data forever. And if they're going to add new jobs, I think one of them does have to be either a tank or a healer. One of them.
Logically, yeah, it has to be a tank and a healer. But I don't think Square Enix wants to go through all the effort of balancing another tank and healer because they can't even feel like I feel like they don't even have a handle on balancing the ones they have.
I think a healer is much more difficult.
Yeah,
because in terms of the healing jobs, like that has been a much more difficult balancing act. Whereas tanks, it's like
you give pretty much cooldowns.
Yeah.
And then,
tanks are almost indistinguishable from each other.
Let me kind of go off the point that you brought up numerous times about the way that DPS is done now. When really at this point it's kind of like plug and play, right? One of the reasons that I think balancing healers was so hard is because they didn't want two healers to be the same. You have your, straight up big heals. You have your shields or whatever that the scholar does, and astrologian is like this whole like randomized thing, right? But now the whole idea for all jobs, what gives it its uniqueness and the way that it plays is just the visual style of the new doodads and stuff that they give you, right? So they could come up with a brand new healer that plays just like anything else, but so long as it looks like it's playing differently, they could easily put it in tune with another job that's copied off.
But that's exactly what they do with everything at this point, where a lot of the moves between jobs are similar. They're weighted similarly, and therefore, rotations basically just kind of are the thing that makes jobs feel different. Is what the rotation is, what the chain of abilities that you're supposed to activate are, and what order they come in.
And I feel like the best way to like differentiate that is through DPS, is having a DPS. Like trying to change the way tanks feel and the way healers feel is a lot harder than just changing the way you DPS.
That is true.
And Square Enix is very lazy.
That is also true. It seems that they are taking the lazy route when presented with it. But I mean, I just think that two more DPS end up breaking queue times to an ungodly point, and I think that they've already hinted that you can expect jobs with expansion.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it was one thing for them to get away with 2 DPS this time, and them saying, "Oh, don't worry, it's not going to affect the queue times," because we have no evidence to point to the contrary. But now, if they come up with 2 DPS, we can go look at what happened in Stormblood. The queue times were fucking broken. We're not going to put up with this.
The fact that they even had to add like craft clusters and all this other bullshit for people leveling a tank or a healer, like it was obvious what they were trying to do.
Right.
Like they knew the queue times were bad, and they had to incentivize people to.
And they still suck. And they still suck.
They still suck to this day. Like I still was doing roulettes earlier, and as a healer, it can get an instant queue, and as a DPS, it's 30 minutes.
All right. Well, just a little pro tip for you guys out there: 3 DPS and a healer can work instant queue.
Give us a call. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We'd love to hear from you. What are your opinions about 2018 FanFest? What are your expectations for the next round of expansions for FF14? We'd love to know. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Before we get into the live producer letter XL, let's go back to our phone lines real quick and talk to Nick, who's hanging out on Discord. What's going on, Nick? Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Hey guys, thanks for letting me call in for the first time ever.
Hey man, thanks for calling the show. What's happening?
Not too much. The live letter was amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. We got to praise Yoshi P for all the exciting new things he's providing. It's the best.
You're actually hyped after this live letter, then?
Exactly.
Was it because we're not getting our new version of Diadem until
2.5?
2.5.
It's 2.2.
Yeah, because they're working on making it the exact best ever.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, what was your favorite announcement from the live letter then? What are you most looking forward to?
All the NM hunting I'm gonna do in Eureka when it comes out.
Oh, but that's not till 4.25, my friend.
Yeah. No. Yeah. What are you looking forward to about 4.2? Because they didn't even tell us anything about Eureka other than show us a piece of concept art for it. Like we still don't know what we're getting.
Byakko!
No, that's different.
Yeah, that's different.
It's
a
different thing. Our warring triad.
Yeah. I think that's what Nika's most excited for.
There's always repeating the old days of farming Continuum Fractum hard mode.
Because it's coming back.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, fuck you.
Listen, I am going to say, though, I am kind of excited to see what the alternate path that they take us on through Fractal Continuum is, because there's a lot of cool shit in there.
Maybe we'll just go backwards.
Fractal Continuum was actually like a museum, an Algon museum.
Yes,
right?
correct.
So it would be kind of cool to see what else there is.
Well, and there was that entire back part that got blown out at the boss area that you could continue past, and who knows what's back there. That's kind of cool. So yeah. I don't know. I'm curious to see how they change it. If it's literally just different mobs, I'm going to be disappointed. Or they start us at the end and take us to the beginning.
But it's a different color.
Yeah, stop it.
It has to be a different color.
So okay. Nick, we appreciate the call, dude. Anything else that you want to say before we let you go?
Not too much. Just looking forward to seeing you guys again next year.
Yeah, we kind of Ryoko. That was a good attempt at doing a goofy voice, which we had said last episode we should have Ryoko do the goofy voices.
Here's the thing: when I first heard it, I'm like,
that sounds a lot like Ryoko.
Yeah, I wanted to say something, but then if it wasn't Ryoko,
I didn't want to be a dick.
Right, I didn't want to be a dick either.
Right, like,
damn it.
Like, this is Ryoko, isn't it? Dude, thanks for calling the show. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I decided it's like, hey, you called it out, and I'm gonna accept that challenge.
There's no. Can you do a goofier voice? Like, can you do like a cartoon voice? Like, can you do something up here or anything? Like, that's what I was. Because it sounded almost exactly like you with a lower, kind of like lower voice like this. I'm kind of curious if you can do like a truly goofy voice.
I could, but I asked Nika to change my name, so she gave me a guy's name. So I was like, well, I need to lower my voice to make it different than what I'm already at. But I can do a voice like this.
No, that just sounds like you're doing a falsetto.
Yeah.
And there's no voice that you can do that doesn't sound like it's still you.
But
which makes the joke hold up from last week.
I was going to say, not to mention, if he would have just did a totally goofy voice, might not have been able to tell that it was Ryoko. But a lot of people in the chat were like, I'm not sure if he's sarcastic or not. And so that's why it got us. Yeah, for a second I thought, is it Ryoko? But then as it went on, I actually thought this dude was serious.
Yeah, and that's true.
Yeah, you got me because. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I spent the last 10 minutes of when you guys were discussing about the next potential patch, actually practicing the deeper voice.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good.
You got us.
Commitment.
You got us.
That's commitment.
You got me.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Ryoku, thanks for the call, man. It's always good hearing from you. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Carletta's hanging on the line. We'll get to you in just a second, but
Ryoko got me because in Discord he changed his name to Nick, so I'm like, that's not
clever.
He's not Ryoko, it's Nick. And
attention to detail, that is important.
I'm looking in our user list. I'm like, Ryoko, where is Ryoko?
Bravo.
He got me.
Let's talk about the extra large live producer letter.
Brought to you by Fat.
Can we start with this promo picture for Rise of a New Sun. It's called. Oh my god!
Oh, look at that! Looks so good.
No,
they've got a wyvern in the background. A Scott will be sad about that.
Oh.
Alpha. Alpha's in the main. He's got a cute little Ironworks outfit.
Alpha is cute. He has an outfit on.
He's so cute. He's got a basket on.
Alpha is literally the worst character ever.
He can't even say anything. He just goes scratchy scratch. He's like, squeeze.
Yeah, that wyvern though.
Well, that's Midgar Somer. That's Midgar Somer, obviously. But the way that they've drawn it, it totally does look like Sid has a wyvern.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No, it does make sense that it's Midgar Somer because in fact, this is the whole Omega Deltascape crap, fucking whatever, is the first time we've seen him since we actually used him back in Heaven's Ward. So yeah, that's got to be him.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it is.
They're just debuting the new Dragoon pet.
But anyway, I don't know. It's a good watercolor, but I'm not a fan of Rise of the New Sun.
Who's the new sun?
What?
Like, what is it? What is it referencing? Is this just because we know we're going? Here's the other thing that upsets me. Okay,
the sun is literally.
No, here we go.
It's actually a sun. Like we're gonna get a new one, like Tatooine.
Right. No, because two new nations, Dawn of blah 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 blah. We know that we're gonna be spending the majority of this patch in Doma. But they're just showing off Omega stuff on the promo picture.
Yeah, well, you know, the last patch also just had Rabanaster shit when we knew.
Yeah,
that.
I didn't like that either.
Listen. I think that it is like this. What they've started setting up in patch 3.1, right, in terms of story and where the story is going to go over. Or, I'm sorry, 4.1, and where they've set it up to go over the course of ostensibly to 4.5. I'm so bored.
Oh, definitely.
So bored.
It's going to be Doma this time. And then we'll go back over to Alamigo.
Right.
And then to Doma.
And you know, the way that this is going to end, it's going to end with Hien and
Lise getting married.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
What? No.
Yep.
Please no.
Calling it now.
No,
calling it now.
No, not Lise. Not Lise.
Leon forever. Leon forever.
No. Hien and Yuri.
He's forever? Is that what you want? Like that's no, I like Leon better.
Lise is better on her own as a strong woman.
Yeah, you know that's not gonna happen.
She needs a man to validate her.
You know, there's no.
That's not what they're building. What else would they be building to?
Yuri has a huge crush on him. I don't.
Yeah, okay, but
Senpai will never notice her. Okay,
Yagiri is no one. If they end up hooking up, they unite the two kingdoms. That's where this is going.
And that's big.
Come on, tell me why.
No.
Nika, instead of trying to shout me down, give me a valid reason why that is wrong.
Besides, you don't want it to happen
because I know you're probably right, and I don't want to.
You just ruined this entire expansion for Nika.
This is the straw that breaks.
Yeah, right.
Wow,
this is the thing
that breaks Nika's back. Yes,
Nika's is true.
Because here, look.
I almost thought Gallant's comment was Yagiri is Lise, and I was going to be like, "What the fuck?"
That would be so cool.
We have driven this joke into the ground.
We're still waiting for Ida to return.
Yeah,
not to mention
Ida is Yagiri.
Yugiri still has to get with what's his face, the golden boy from Ishgard.
Gosetsu.
No, from Ishgard.
From Ishgard.
Imric.
Imric, yeah. Yugiri has to get with Emmerich.
What's her face?
Huh? Is he with somebody?
Lucia.
Oh my God.
What?
No,
the Garlean?
No, Livia's sister. Yeah.
No, she is to Emmerich what Yagiri is to Hien. Senpai's never gonna notice her.
No, she's basically Brienne of Tarth.
There you go. Good one. I like that.
Right? Am I crazy?
No,
she's Brienne of Tarth.
Totally Brienne of Tarth.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So with that established, she doesn't get anyone.
Yeah.
She gets to be lonely.
She gets to be a giant bear.
Yeah.
In fact, whoever
probably better.
Whoever she wants to fall in love with dies. So
there you go.
You don't want her to have Emmerich.
That's right.
Or he's gonna get devoured by a vagina-born shadow.
Plus, we know that the head of each one of these nations is never they're never gonna die. They can't die. Because the Sultana didn't die.
Sultana didn't. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though she should, and then I think that
she did.
So let's count our safe characters. We've got Imric safe. Lise is safe, ostensibly.
Yes.
Hien is safe. Scions
can die.
Yeah,
Scions can die.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to see the return of
Connie Senna.
Connie Senna.
What's your ugly bitch in Limsa? Meryl boobs.
Meryl, yeah.
Meryl tits.
The only one, I think the only one whose status is kind of up for grabs is Raubon. Raubon's kind of the only one, yeah.
No, and here's why. And I think this is one of the reasons why maybe they ended up bringing the Sultana back as well, is you can't kill Raubon because he is Ulda's way of staying in conflicts. They're not going to send the Sultana out to be the one who sort of like leads all those things. So, okay, no, there is a way. If Raubon were to die, Pippin would have to take his place.
Yeah.
Oh, duh.
I think that's what they're setting up Pippin for.
I would rather Pippin die.
Why? How much more motivation do you like Raubon as a character has seen
some shit?
No, but he's seen his arc though. Like what? Now that Alamigo is liberated, he has no reason to exist in the plot. Period. All he is serving as motivation for Nanamo.
Ah, crap. You can't even turn him evil because Ilberd already did that.
Exactly.
Raubon would never...
Oh, come on. That would be a sweet-ass arc.
No, come on. He's had the redemption arc after the whole thing with Ilberd.
Yeah.
And he's rejected the power, so we know that he's not going to be at the seat of power in Alamigo. That's being set aside for Lys.
Why don't I want him to die? Like, I don't mind them retiring him out of the story, but for some reason I feel like if they were to just kill him off now, it would just be like, eh.
Because if you read the beats of the plot, then yeah, that's what they're setting you up for. You're ready for it. So
I don't want to be ready for a death though, because if I'm ready for it, it's just like, oh, okay, he's gone now. Too bad.
I agree.
So even when they do a death, they're not going to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have killed him.
None of us were ready for the Sultana, and so they didn't do it.
You should have killed him off before he finished his arc.
Listen, Square-Enix proved me wrong. If Square-Enix proves me wrong, then they're actually setting up a much more compelling storyline. So prove me wrong, Square-Enix.
Screw-Enix.
Either I'm right about what they're setting up, or I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Let me put it that way. I'm prepared to be wrong. I want to be wrong. Let me say that for everyone who, if I am wrong, wants to come back and rub it in my face.
What would they do with him then? Just retire him somewhere or give him a new plot arc?
Raubon?
Yeah.
He's just going to be the commander of the Alamigan army, and he's just going to...
No, he'll continue hanging out with Nanamo. Probably.
He'll just go back and be a boring leader now.
But wasn't the whole plot that Nanamo relieved him of duty so that he doesn't have to return to Ul'dah?
Right.
He's not coming back to Ul'dah.
Right. He's not coming back to Ul'dah.
Well, he can do whatever he wants. That's the thing about character autonomy.
Because now who's going to do all this shit for Nanamo?
Why would he stay in Alamigo?
Because that's what his whole life's purpose has been.
Rebuild.
Was to get back to Alamigo.
Was to reclaim Alamigo, not to get back to Alamigo. I don't know.
Home is where the heart is. Yeah, that's where he wants to be.
Who knows where he wants to be?
Oh yeah, no.
Because that's you see that internal conflict in him in that scene.
That's right. Because it's not like he has any family left in Alamigo, but where he does have family. With Nanamo and Ul'dah.
Right.
And protecting her.
Right.
From the Syndicate who still are out for blood.
He would much rather, I think, see Pippin in that role than take that role up himself.
Yeah,
but he knows that he can't leave yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
See, but again, all of that kind of serves to set up that he's either going to start being a background character or that he's going to die. And I think he's going to die. And I think that needs to happen to make for a compelling plot point.
I mean, but the three people that are in freaking Kane Senna and Merlwyb and Raubon have always kind of been a background character until this arc where he had a reason to come up to the forefront. Like he could easily just go back to being a background character.
His arc, no. His arc started all the way back in 3.0 when they introduced Ilberd as a character. That's when his arc in earnest started. And remember, Ilberd was a part of the
Crystal Braves.
Crystal Braves, yeah. Yeah.
The Blues.
So really, that's really where his arc started, because that's where they started weaving in some of the Alamigo resistance stuff.
Back when the story was good.
Oh, God.
Right?
I hope they don't kill him, because I can't see a situation where killing him would meaningfully add to anything except that, okay, we're done with him, so we're going to toss him out now.
Yeah, kind of.
I would rather him just go back to being a background character.
Other than having tons of build-up and having tons of familiarity and then taking that character away from you. That is an effective That as in terms of a motivator for the player, that's pretty effective. I mean, that's essentially what they did with Ysayle. Right?
Yeah. I think that Ysayle's was a little bit different because
Ysayle's was better.
Exactly, because she didn't actually complete what she was setting out to complete. She found out she was a fucking fraud.
Yeah, she failed.
A failure.
She failed.
And then in her redemptive, like dying, that was her redemption.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. His redemptive arc is complete, and now, kind of like Han Solo, exists just to be killed.
God, it'd be terrible. Who kills him? Pippin turns evil.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh.
They haven't set that up at all.
They haven't set up a big bad for the second half of the arc here. That's part of the problem here, and why I think 4.1 feels compassless.
Maybe it's the Warriors of Darkness.
There is no big bad right now.
Oh my gosh!
Right? Like the only big bad that we have is Omega
and Garlemald. I mean, they're always there. Exactly.
Yes.
Will you break one of his fingers?
You saw that scene at the end of the credits with Garlemald. And
idiots.
The Emperor.
But they're not an active part of the story yet.
And the Asians, I mean.
And look, if the Emperor suddenly, for some stupid reason, decides to come to the forefront of the battle, that's just dumb.
But for the first time in a long time, we don't actually have a big bad.
I don't like that.
I mean, we have the existential big bad of Garlemald and the Asians, who have always kind of been there.
Right.
But there is no big bad to focus on right now. We just have what's her name in captivity, and then the other one who's had the sense knocked out of her.
Yeah, she has.
They're not even really bads anymore.
No, they're not. And then
who knows what the fuck they're doing anyway? Go set.
And then and Xenos is gone. So
poof.
Where is our big bad right now?
Is Xenos supposed to be a big epic big bad?
Yeah, Xenos is gone.
It's stupid that it took us 3 patches to kill Nidhogg, and yet Xenos was supposed to be this really big bad dies in the first.
That we hate the most.
Yeah.
I didn't think Xenos was that bad of a guy.
No, I thought that the
he's
villains.
a pretty bad guy, but not compared to.
Dude, the villains in Stormblood way underwhelming. Way underwhelming.
Done more with Yotsuyu and Xenos both.
The grasshopper in A Bug's Life was more evil than Xenos.
Honestly, going back in Heavensward, your enemy being the state church was way more interesting than
if cliche.
Yeah, I mean, cliche for a Final Fantasy plot, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. For a Final Fantasy plot specifically, yeah, kinda. But you had two existential threats, which basically the existential threat was Garlemald through Xenos and Yotsuyu, right?
And
Fordola. But now that's all been undone, and until the Empire comes back into the picture,
we're gonna get
we don't have a big bad.
Maybe?
We're gonna have a Scion possess Xenos's vaporized body, and that's how we're gonna fight Xenos yet again in 4.2.
Please no.
Xenos comes back.
Search your heart
as a primal.
know it to be true.
All right. No.
Nate's just we're done with today. Goodbye.
I'm waiting for you to move the fucking conversation along for the last 30 fucking minutes.
So we're finally getting Hildebrad's side quest.
How much tap dancing do we have to do to move to the next fucking information point?
I was actually enjoying.
You're in the driver's seat
talking about the future MSQ.
You're in the but how much more bullshit do we have to get through in 30 minutes?
Honestly, there's not even a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to say about it is the thing. That was probably the most interesting this discussion was going to get. Hildebrad's coming. Juxta, you're the only one who watched the short scene, the tease, I guess, that they put in.
It.
Oh, you did it too? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you expect anything out of the actual quest? Like a return to form for Hildebrat, or are we just going to babysit?
No, of course not.
I expect it's going to be exactly like Heavensward was.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be worse, I think.
It's going to be terrible.
Yeah,
Heavensward was cute, but it wasn't like what Hildebrat was supposed to be. I miss when we had we got 3 trials out of the first Hildebrands? We got Ultros and both Gilgameshes.
Yeah, we did.
I missed that.
And honestly, they were good ones.
They were all good ones. All 3 of them.
The story was good because he was being an
inquisitor. Investigator extraordinaire, whatever the fuck his title is.
Gentleman investigator extraordinaire. I don't know.
He is. Yeah, he's an investigator.
Wow, man, I am so disconnected with Hildebrand right now.
Okay, so you're obviously not going to do it, but Nika, you'll probably
do it.
Oh, you will.
I will definitely do
I'm going to hate it. but I'll do it.
No? All right. Well, then, cool. We're getting a new Beast Tribe quest, which this is actually quick. We just got the Kojin in the last patch, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
4.2, we're getting the Anata.
And now we're out of beast tribes.
We definitely
now. Do you have any other beast?
We've got to have some.
Kikrin, maybe.
There you go. Okay, yep, they could do the Kikrin.
Yeah, they could do Kikrin.
I wouldn't mind the Kikrin, because the Kikrin that are in Alamigo, they're some creepy motherfuckers.
They're funky looking.
Like, did you stop to really look at them for a second?
They are weird looking.
They are weird looking, and they also aren't they the ones that have the settlement on top of the upside down pyramid thing? That's one of my favorite.
What did they call that? The obelisk? No, was it the obelisk?
No,
I forget what they called it, but yeah, no, they're freaky.
But that's one of my favorite parts on that entire map, and I feel like it's underused.
Oh, we have Wolfmen too.
Oh yeah, you've got Wolfmen.
Oh,
who are like president and no quests.
Actually,
MSQ.
And you know what? It makes
guys.
It also makes sense too that since we did the Kikrin, or sorry, not the Kikrin, the Kojin over in Doma, now we got the Anat and Alamigo, that the next ones, if they give us more, would be the Wolfmen who are in Doma, right?
No, but the Wolfmen don't have an actual establishment. The only Wolfmen you can find are
So we help them build one?
No, I feel like
we not do that with the
right by
people?
Right by where you fight the wolf guys is where the fish house is with all those stupid catfish guys. It's gonna be
Nazmu.
Well, I hope we don't get the catfish.
I like those guys.
I fucking
those
hate
guys.
Of course, they actually have a home-based house where you can go and talk to a bunch of NPCs. It's absolutely going to be them.
God damn it! I don't want it.
And I bet that's gonna be the crafting ones.
Fuck. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine. I'm fine with it then. I don't care. I'll never do it in the first
Absolutely
place.
going to be the crafting.
It will.
Yeah, it will. That makes sense.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they're all about collecting shit. So
I hate those. I hate the fucking little things.
The little catfish guys.
They're
so
terrible.
Cool.
The new dungeons we're getting, obviously, earlier, Fake Ryoku talked about the fractal continuum.
Fake Ryoku? I love it.
Ryoku with like the mustache and the little circle, the fake nose and stuff that you wear. Yeah. And then the other one we're getting is called Hell's Lid.
Where's that going to be at? Do we even know?
At Hell's Lid. It's in the Ruby Sea. It's down at the mountain at the bottom.
Oh, okay. So the volcano.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's that whole red area in the Ruby Sea where all those like fire crabs are.
Yeah.
Okay, so that area that we never went to in the MSQ.
Pretty much, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that Hell's Lid could be interesting. I mean,
aesthetically.
It's yeah, aesthetic.
Oh,
well,
actually,
it's not going to be challenging.
Well, it's obviously not going to have a story either. But what I mean now that I think about it, Volcano, is it just going to end up being like the back end of Dragons,
whatever? Not Airy.
I know what you're talking about, though.
With the super evil boss, Lava Scorpion.
Right.
With the Pokemon bosses.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I don't know. It's going to be a line.
Sorkai, is that what it's called?
It's Sorkai. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, it's going to be a line to a circle to a line to a circle to a line to a circle and exit.
And then loot.
Well, sometimes flames might come out of the lava and you have to dodge those.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So you have to like kind of zigzag.
I don't know. At this point, I think you can just stand in them and your healers can keep you up.
But you get a damage down debuff, so you don't want to.
Big deal.
It takes longer. My tomes per minute.
Listen, I mean, of what they showed us in the live letter, I mean, there's really nothing to pull out of there. It's
a dungeon.
Yeah.
It's not going to... Will it relate to the MSQ, do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, because one of them always does in some way, and we know we're going to Doma for this MSQ. And how are they going to weave the fractal continuum hard into the MSQ?
That's probably
Doma?
fair. That's probably... You got a 50-50 chance of it being MSQ tied. I think it is.
Yeah.
But I am pretty excited for fractal continuum hard, because just, usually when they do a hard dungeon, they do something different with it. And fractal continuum was one of the more interesting dungeons that we had gotten. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to revisit it and see what else is in there. We might get some more lore tidbits like we did the first time, because they're
like where the Ixal came from.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we'll see.
Or we might not.
Or not.
We're also going to be getting, and this is what Nico was alluding to earlier, we're getting what is essentially our warring triad of the expansion, the 4 lords.
Thank you, copy and paste.
Yeah. So the first in the series is going to be against Byakko, and we kind of knew this was coming, at the beginning of the expansion, or back during the fan fest when we got the big reveal of the actual huge world map.
Right.
We saw that it had Siryu, Suzaku, Byakko, and Genbu on it in different areas, and then we figured we'd get them in some way or another, and in fact, I'm pretty sure we called Trials.
It was this kind of like other island that was behind Doma, where we were looking at it like, oh, what's going to be over there? So it looks like, yeah, they are going to be instanced battles. And that, yes, this is going to mainly be our kind of like new version of Primals. Not a bad application, although I think that they could have done something more interesting here. And of course, FF11 players are going to be like, oh, well, we want Sky. Like, come on now. Stop. You know that's never going to happen.
Okay, so my question is, do you think they're going to try to tie in Final Fantasy lore into these primals?
No, because this is Japanese, like, that's
Japanese lore?
Yeah.
Hold on. I have it because I forget who it was now, but it was one of our callers had pointed out to us that whenever we run into one of the legions, right, the number of that legion is tied to the Final Fantasy installment that it comes out of, right? Okay. So do you think that somehow the 11th Legion will be tied into this story?
No.
No?
No.
Actually, no, I think it might actually, because that's what happened with the Warring Triad, right? So it could absolutely... Absolutely.
Yeah, the 6th Legion tied in with the Warring Triad and General Leo.
Yeah, because the Warring Triad was also an optional side bosses. This is absolutely,
No, but I don't see this as an homage. I see this less as an homage to FF11 and more of just co-opting more of
Japanese.
Yeah, more of the setting, which is Japan, and more of the cultural setting, which is Eastern. So, yeah, no, I think that that's what this drives at. And I don't even know that Yoshi P even knows that there was the Sky Gods in 11.
So do you think we're going to get new models, or do you think they will reuse Byaku and Genbu and like?
Well, we've to upscale them for the graphics.
We've already seen. I mean, if you actually watch the live letter, they had a screenshot of Byaku.
I tried to actually look for like a gallery so that we could use it along with it, and I couldn't find it.
Well, they did show a screenshot of it, and it looks like an updated character model.
Oh, good.
It's the same coloring as
giant saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah. And that's what it is, but it's not the exact same model, right? Like they've taken the literal models from 12 or 11 and upscaled them and put them back in some cases. That's not what this is.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that then.
So someone on the design team clearly themed it after the FF11 version, but I can't say for certain. I'm not saying that it's not, but I can't say for certain whether or not the entirety of the development team is coming at this as an homage to 11. I just don't know. Given the theme of Stormblood, given the overall theme of Doma, I think it's much more likely that they were looking at this as the 4 cardinal gods, associated with
the Far East.
What is it?
Chinese.
I believe it's Chinese.
Yeah.
Penguin Man wants us to know it's Chinese.
Yeah.
Not
Thank you, Penguin Man.
Sorry, it's just coming out of Japan. Whatever. I'm going to be culturally insensitive. I don't give a fuck either. So let's just be clear about that.
Let's just call it weeb stuff.
Yeah, weeb shit.
Stuff. Yeah.
Weeb shit.
Thank you.
Don't really care.
So, Nika, how excited are you for the new raids, Omega Sigmascape?
You mean Smegma?
Smegmascape.
I don't know.
What?
You don't know?
I mean,
have we destroyed the mighty
Nika? I couldn't find any images to go along with this. Did they give any images of anything? Yeah, so I have no hype until I know what the fuck it's going to be.
It's going to be a raid, Nika.
Yeah, it's going to be a raid. And
circle room, maybe square rooms.
You're probably going to be fighting old Final Fantasy bosses from a different game. Which game do you think it's going to be this time? You think it's still going to be 5? I don't think it's still going to be 5.
No, absolutely not. It will either be 6 or 7, probably.
I hope it's 6, 7, and 8.
If it's 6, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Oh, why?
It'd be 6.
Because, you know what?
Do Sephiroth and Ultimate.
Do whatever you want with any of the games. Never touch 6.
Okay. Here's my prediction. We already went from like...
but the Warring Triad was 6, right?
The end boss is from like 5 into X-Death, which is the end boss. So I think in this one, Omega's going to step up his game, have end bosses from 6, 7, and 8, and maybe 9 or something.
From wherever,
basically the end bosses from all those games.
Okay.
And then the last one is going to be just like the most powerful bosses
in each respective game.
In every single game.
So you're talking like Omega Weapon and
us.
Oh, fuck.
No, hold on. Actually, Anira, you're the one who came up with this theory, because the way that the first one plays out that we just did is that he has all these different testing pools. Obviously, you're going to take the strongest one from each testing pool to put up against each other. So I think that supports Juxta's theory of, in this next one, we would go up against like Kefka, Ultimacia, and Sephiroth, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And then in the final one, and you were the one who theorized this, what's stronger than all of these bosses from all these fairy tales?
Oh my God.
The heroes.
We're gonna fight the heroes.
We have to fight the heroes.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're
Which
right.
includes us.
I did come up with this theory. Yeah.
You mean like the main characters of those games?
Yeah.
Or whoever
Cecil.
the main person was. So like
Cloud.
Cecil, Cloud, Lightning,
Oh my God.
Noctis,
Squall.
Can you kill Noctis, Nika?
Of course I can.
Can you?
Can you?
But I could never kill Prompto.
What if you have to kill all three of them?
I would.
Like
what about the
Archangel style?
There you go, Archangel style.
Yeah.
Except we call them the Arch-Emos.
Yeah.
Funny.
No,
Tidus isn't even in consideration.
It would be Yuna.
It would be Yuna. Yeah.
No. Final Fantasy X is not in consideration for this.
Auron?
What?
No.
Yuna the Summoner 2?
No.
I love it. If my stupid AIM name doesn't tell you anything, I love FF10.
Yeah.
I would say if they did, if it went in the way that you're suggesting that it progresses, that if they did Kefka and then Sephiroth, and then I don't know. Like
Sephiroth has to be the end one.
She's like a bender of time and dimensional space.
Ultimecia has to be the last one. Why?
No, I'm saying Sephiroth has to be the last one.
Sephiroth has to be. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
But
build up to Sephiroth. Yeah.
But I think what he's moving at is if we're going up the FS, then the final one would be like Zidane, and then whoever from FF10, then 12.
No. I think you go that same arc except the heroes, where you go. Now it's like 6, 7, or
because you would only have 4 battles because this is the last leg. So you'd have to have just 4 heroes.
Well, we can't use 5 because they've already used 5.
You could use the heroes from 5 though.
You could. I don't know, man. I mean,
obviously the last fight in Omega would be Omega.
That's true.
Okay, that's right.
Oh no! I know you look confused at what you just said, but that's true.
But I'm like, no, that made sense. Okay,
guys. Okay, this is gonna ruin it for me. Instead of making us fight the heroes, we somehow band together with the heroes to overthrow the programming and fight Omega directly for the last one.
There's still
after we beat them.
I mean, there's still the Alpha and the Omega. Play on words there, which if going by the Alexander arc and how much they had to shoehorn that Schrodinger's cat into the fucking thing, there's definitely something at play with the Alpha and Omega.
That's so stupid.
It is very dumb. Very
Omega
dumb.
So much.
Yeah.
What about a gauntlet with the 4 Fiends and Zeomus from 4?
I would love that.
That actually would be badass.
Like
the 4 Fiends would be awesome.
Yeah, no, 4 Fiends would be pretty awesome because we haven't seen 4 Fiends.
I'm surprised we haven't seen those yet. Actually, that's a really good thought.
Yeah, that's a staple.
And that would be like a gauntlet fight, like in like Alexander 2.
Yeah.
We have to fight. And then come back at the land.
I agree. That would be cool.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Why don't they think of this shit? Why are we coming up with this on a podcast?
Because we come up with it first. They hear that we came up with it, and then they can't use it because then we get to say that they took it from us.
So they change it. Man.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
We need to make our own game.
Speaking of bullshit, guys, this is probably what's going to take us to the end of the show here. So, as we all predicted, Eureka, 4.25, as is Hildebred, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, get the fuck out.
Well, because the reasoning was that people don't do Hildebred until after
I wonder
the other
why
content,
people don't
so
do
we're just going to give it to you after the other content
because it's a fucking piece of shit. All right, so anyway, this is what they told us about it. The content's going to be released as a series, and they will be continuing support through the patches. They would like for players to enjoy this content with many players, and there will be some leveling aspects here. We're planning to have players strengthen the weapons and gear inside Eureka, and within Eureka, players will encounter strong monsters such as NMs. They should be able to show us more information in the next live letter.
So basically, this is what they have described is exactly what we kind of predicted they would do, is taking Palace of the Dead and Diadem and just pushing them to get smushing them. Yeah.
Now kiss.
Yeah.
They are literally all of the buzzwords from both of those mashed into one.
It is. That's exactly what's going on here.
Someone call in and fight me about it.
Seriously. Like, if we've got anyone that wants to call in and say that...
And still defend them.
That we're wrong, please do.
Hold on. This is called Animos? Forbidden Land of Eureka Animos?
Yeah.
Well, because it's going to be a series.
Animos.
So basically when the next one comes out, it'll be the Forbidden Land of Eureka, but then another area of it. Which, which means that just like with the Relic Quest, when you get to a certain point and nobody's doing that shit anymore, eventually you're going to go into Animos and nobody's going to be there because they're doing their Relic weapon somewhere else.
Yep.
So they're still going to fuck it up.
Like, I just don't understand how Square-Enix thinks people are going to continue doing this long term.
Oh, they don't want you to do it long term, remember?
Yeah, but if it's attached to progression, you're going to have it relate long term. That's why I think you've got that keyword in there. There's going to be leveling aspects to it.
It also says too that they're going to be implementing a new system.
Yeah.
So we still have heard nothing about the actual next deep dungeon, right?
This is nope. No. There is no more deep dungeon. I don't think.
If we get a deep dungeon, it's not going to be till like 4.42.
No, I literally think that they're mashing up elements from Deep Dungeon and Diadem, where it's going to have the progression system of Deep Dungeon, where you're leveling inside Deep Dungeon,
leveling independent of your real level,
that you're getting XP when you leave, so there is a reason to keep doing it outside of your regular player progression, right? Like if you want to level another job or if you're fresh to the game, it would be a good way to be able to collect XP because that's what people did with Palace of the Dead, right?
Yep. It had a secondary purpose that ended up being its primary purpose.
So force them into the Forbidden Lands of Eureka, and then that way they're gaining XP, and those people who are just coming to the game and those people who have been playing long term are both playing the same system to be able to get entirely different benefits out of it.
And playing together, yay!
That's exactly what they did with Palace of the Dead. That is to a T what Palace of the Dead was. Now you throw some randomized, randomly generated elements on top of it and put it into a small dungeon that counts up to 99. That is basically Palace of the Dead. So if you take that part, set that aside, and you take those other parts and you set that aside and you apply it to this big event that Diadem was, that actually does solve a handful of problems that was intrinsic in Diadem, where once people stopped doing it, there was no reason for the greater community to keep doing it. Like once a party became difficult to put in there, then people stopped doing it, but they never quite did that with Palace of the Dead. Palace of the Dead, people were doing Palace of the Dead all the way throughout now they still do Palace of the Dead.
People still do it to level stuff.
Yeah.
Palace of the Dead is Square-Enix's one achievement.
So they take what works on that smaller system and apply it to the bigger system. That incentive of leveling and taking multiple levels of experience and applying them to a common goal is going to be something that continues on throughout Eureka. I am almost 100% certain of this.
Moxeth says, I don't think I'll enjoy Eureka if they allow you to access it before endgame.
They also did say that there was stuff that they were going to wall out, but then again, we've also seen there is that hard wall out of the binding coil revisit. You know what I mean? So maybe they weren't necessarily talking about walling people out of Eureka. I don't think you can. I think Eureka has to be a bit more inclusive amongst all levels of play for it to be viable content.
Okay, but for
just
that,
like relic stuff and quests, I think why can't it be a casual end game? Like, why can't it be 70 plus? That would be silly for you to be able to go in at level 15 or 30.
Because they've already said it's basically going to have a leveling aspect to it. If they say that it's going to have a leveling aspect to it, it's much more likely that they're going to go with something like Palace of the Dead, where it has an independent level system, as opposed that.
Why wouldn't they just make their own deep dungeon to keep that, and then do this different?
Because I think again, I don't think that we're going to see much more Deep Dungeon. I think that they're taking what worked with Deep Dungeon and trying to apply it to a Diadem-like system.
But then why would they call it Deep Dungeon Palace of the Dead instead of just calling it?
Well, because first of all,
the intention,
Deep Dungeon.
Well, the intention may have been there to continue it, but when you look at the spread of content, they also wanted Diadem to be successful and to have people continue to do it up until right now, and that's not happening.
And it's very possible that either Yoshi P or some higher ups or someone says we cannot have another piece of major content flop like Diadem did.
Exactly.
So they look at Palace of the Dead and they're like, well, people like that. So if we co-opt this into a new system, it's guaranteed to work.
And they might not be wrong. I think we may see another version of Palace of the Dead. It's not going to be here for a while. It's probably going to be pushed out a couple of patches. And I don't think much about it is going to change from our initial Palace of the Dead. I see them taking what works about Palace of the Dead, applying it to Eureka, and trying to make their biggest piece of potential content coming down the pike for this expansion work, as opposed to let's separate these two ideas and find out about what works about each one of them.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like in Heaven's Word, was that they took these two concepts and was like, we're going to put this one over here, we're going to put this one over here, and we're going to find out what works and what doesn't work about each of them. And now they're going to be mushing these two things together for Eureka, because again, that description right there hits on all of the selling points of both Diadem and Palace of the Dead. So I am doing some extrapolating here, but that's where I'm getting it from. So
I also think Eureka's not going to be content for new players, because if you're going to access this, you're probably going to have to be in Doma, right? Which means you're going to have to be level 63, 65-ish or so to even get to that area, right?
I hope so.
Okay, so then you can still...
It depends. If that tower that leads up to the sky, I have been theorizing that it's another deep dungeon. If it, for whatever, leads to Eureka, then yeah, you have to be that level to get there.
Okay, but to access Deep Dungeon, it's literally just an NPC and quarry mill.
Yeah, so how
hard would it be if they wanted to just put another NPC like that somewhere else in the world where noobs can get to it?
But again, and if they're if they're putting on hold the idea or concept of Deep Dungeon until maybe a 4.4, right? Then again, we're looking at this. You're looking at it, Nika, through the lens of like the next Deep Dungeon. You need to look at it through like, this is the next Diadem, and what can they do to make Diadem work, right? If people stayed engaged in Palace of the Dead because they were able to gain XP out of it, then I think that it is natural to assume that Eureka is also, in order to be able to entice players of all levels, is going to have to exist at all levels. And the other thing about Eureka is that we have no idea where this exists on the map. We just don't. I mean, if we're going to be literal about where the Forbidden Lands of Eureka were, you got there after traversing the Crystal Tower in 3. Right?
So was it like in the tower? Or was it like in
it was after. It was like after the tower. I think you got up to the tower, and that's where it transported you, was to the Forbidden Lands of Eureka.
Like, just a whole brand new place.
Man, you're asking me to remember Final Fantasy III, and I don't remember that much about it.
I never beat that one because I hated the fucking.
But I do know that the Crystal Tower and the Forbidden Lands of Eureka are both out of FF3.
Mm-hmm.
So what if this isn't tied to Doma at all? I mean, you guys are kind of assuming that it's tied to Doma, and I understand that assumption, but I don't think we can assume that.
That's fair.
No, in fact, because we're getting the MSQ in the very first part of the patch, and then Eureka in the second patch, so there's nothing that says that it has to be in Doma.
Right.
That's fair.
Now, the other thing that we did hear about during the live letter was that we were getting undersea explorations, which seemed to be your precursor to a Diadem-like system.
Oh, my gosh.
Because it's basically the exact same thing that air expeditions were.
When I first saw this, when it said subaquatic voyages, I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. And when it says an expansion of the Free Company voyage system or whatever, I was just like, what the fuck are you doing?
To me, that clinches that Eureka in some way is built off of the Diadem system.
Oh my god.
Okay? And I think, that does say, like, listen, if it's undersea voyages that you're going to be doing to map out the area to be able to go into, okay, that it is what it is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to happen either in Alamigo or Doma. There's a lot of underwater places that you can map out and want to be mapped out. And so, yes, Forbidden Lands could be anywhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be underwater, although it could. Right? Right. Okay.
Did anyone want more airship water missions?
No.
Submarine missions?
But again, that was tied to Diadem, which makes me think that this is much more.
They're repurposing shit.
Yes,
again.
Exactly. This is Diadem. This is basically a third version of Diadem.
Control C, Control V.
Diadem 3.0 deepest dungeon.
And where else would they take elements from? It's got to be from.
Or they could just create something new and original. Oh wait.
Yeah, that's less likely.
Get the fuck out.
I'm trying to be optimistic.
We've still got plenty more to go through here, and we're going to try to go through it really quickly. But before we do, I do want to head on over to our phone lines and talk to Carletta. What's going on, Carletta?
Hello, how's everybody doing on this fine week before Starlight Day?
Good. This is our last show for 2 weeks, so we're doing pretty awesome.
I'm going to go through DTs.
That's
you guys.
Good. Hopefully we'll have a much larger audience when we come back.
Yeah, because that's how that works.
I'm I'm always there. I do my best.
I know. You do your part. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Well,
what's up, Carletta?
For the live letter, I was kind of indifferent on everything I read except for two things. One, Chocobo saddlebags. Yeah,
oh yeah, Chocobo saddlebags. Yeah,
that's kind of basically like Mog Sacks from 11, where you like have extra
right.
Yeah,
and I will fill them up I'll fill them up in about 48 hours. I need more space.
That concept is actually borrowed from Ultima Online, where you used to have pack mules that would follow you around that you can throw extra shit that you were mining into. And it was actually really handy, and I think that was really smart for them to do that. Mm-hmm. What else, Carletta?
Well, and then I read they're going to make adjustments to Black Mage. No.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. I love fire. I love setting things on fire.
Something tells me that you're still going to be able to set things on fire, but maybe less effectively. Carletta, it's always good to hear from you.
Hey,
unfortunately, we gotta kind of move on.
No, gotta move on. But
yeah,
y'all have a great holiday.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
And y'all take care. Bye bye.
Have a great, have a happy New Year and a great holiday season, Carletta. Always good to hear from you. All right, let's try to, because most of these after job adjustments are PvP updates.
Right. So I'm not going to touch on the majority of that because it's all bullshit. Now, I think the one from here that is important to take out is they are talking about the introduction of a new map. So that's cool.
Yeah.
And then there's all kinds of stupid bullshit.
Well, and it's Allegan themed, right?
Yes, it specifically talks about it being, I think, the Crystal Tower training grounds.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. I remember that. Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck, that looks kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. Well, until you get in there and you realize, it's just the same shit all over again.
They probably just added a couple elements.
Randomize which map you're gonna get each time. It's a little bit more like fun because you don't know.
Okay,
that's true too.
Perhaps, yeah. They're talking about the next new tombstone, Mendacity.
Why?
Isn't a word?
Mendacity is not a thing.
Okay, I just want to say I like this because it just further improves the fact that men are superior to women because there's no tombstone of womacity.
No,
I'm just saying that. Listen,
it's pulling from the Tales of book right now, where it's just coming like taking words that kind of sound like words and then changing them.
I think that maybe Carlos Mencia just paid a little bit of money to become somewhat relevant again.
Listen, I just think that the mendacity of Square-Enix to think that they can put this into the game. And have us all just think that, oh yeah, that's a word. What is that's crazy.
Okay, this next one confuses me. We'll be making adjustments to the main scenario dungeons so that players can enjoy them without worry. It may extend the duration of the dungeon, however. We have increased the rewards as well.
AKA, you will force you to watch cutscenes so that new players can enjoy it.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Fuck you, Square Enix.
But we get more rewards for watching the cutscenes.
Fuck off. Yeah, here's 5 more tomestones. Enjoy, shithead.
Still, though, I'll take it.
Yeah, I won't. I'm not gonna. I don't mind about that shit.
Yeah.
You want to watch 20 minutes of cutscenes?
There are cutscenes that I've never sat through. that
and
I just
either
skip.
way, too, they're like either way, we're waiting for new players to get through cutscenes sometimes before going into the boss. So who fucking cares? If
honestly, I have way less patience for those people who are complaining about their tombstones per hour. I do. Honest to fucking God, I do. I have way less patience for those players than I do somebody new who just wants to watch a cutscene of a game that they spent like clearly way too much money on.
If this affects just the new players who haven't seen them, fine. But if you have 4 people going in who've already seen the cutscenes, that seems stupid to make you watch them again.
Even if there's no new players?
Yes, exactly. What they need is the way that Overwatch does it for the new events is at the beginning, you hold space to skip. And if everyone holds it, boom, you skip it. If there's one person who wants to watch it, you don't.
Yeah. I feel like Peace Walker did something similar to that too. But yeah, there's like kind of like a small vote system or something.
Yeah. So the last 2 big things on here is the duty recorder and of course the Glamour commodes.
Okay.
Jesus.
Glamour commodes. Let's start with that because
Juxta.
Hold on. A commode is like a toilet.
Yes, it is. I don't know why they're calling it Glamour commode.
Because this system is garbage.
Maybe modes. I don't know. I don't get it either. What do you?
It should be called the Glamour caboodle.
Oh my God!
Really
I'm not even going to respond to that.
You need to stop talking when she says something like that and just let her sit in it.
Juxta,
you know what caboodle is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, it should be a Glamour caboodle.
Shut up.
Juxta, talk to us about this.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Why?
Because
isn't it going to save you retainers?
One, maybe, not even. Because you can only store up to 200 items.
Okay,
and that's it.
Okay,
that's one retainer.
Per like commode. I thought you could
have... a commode can also mean a low piece of furniture with drawers or sometimes a door and shelves.
Shut up, Nika.
But that's per commode. I was under the impression that you could have multiple commodes if you wanted.
I thought it sounds like you only get one, right?
I thought you could have multiple.
Can you have?
Because it's sort of like you register the piece of armor into it. And then it takes it because they said like you register the armor and then the armor no longer has like statting or is no longer cannot be used as regular gear.
You can take it back out. But until you take it back out, you can't use it.
Yeah, it says
okay. So
commodes can retain up to 200 glamours.
See, they listen.
But it doesn't say anything about number of commodes you can have.
Listen, I watched the live letter, but all they were saying was moon speak at me, so I couldn't understand what the fuck they were talking about.
We would like for you to add items you are most likely to use for glamour. Like, why would they be worried about you adding pieces that you weren't most likely to add if you had more than one?
Nika, they're Japanese. They just say stuff to say it. Okay.
To me, that sounds like you have to prioritize the top 200 pieces because you only get.
Oh, no, yes, that's exactly what it is. Look, we thought that when they were mentioning something, because I think in the earliest days when they talked about this, we thought to how World of Warcraft basically has where when you obtain an item, that automatically registers in your
this is
wardrobe
a different thing.
or whatever.
No.
This is basically saying, here's your wardrobe, but you only have 200 slots, so use them wisely.
Which is stupid.
Can you delete them, though, once you put them in?
You can take the item back out of the commode.
Are you really?
I'm positive.
So it's really just a retainer that you can take along with you.
Yeah, for glamour purposes.
It's a retainer for glamour. It's not an actual glamour catalog, which kind of bums me out.
It's really...
They should have just put in a fucking glamour catalog.
Because you still have to have the item, right? So I can't like get the item and then register it and then throw it away and never worry about it again. Because if I decide to remove it from my commode and get rid of it, I can put it back in later.
But I can
item again.
But I can register like all of my items in the commode, and then every time my glamour a piece of armor changes, I go to the commode instead of having to go to my retainer.
Yes. It does make that easier because there's no more glamour.
That makes sense.
And it gives you 200 item slots basically because you can put all these items into the commode, and then when you want the item back to like use or whatever, you can take it out.
So then what the fuck are you bitching about?
It's only 200.
I'm just bitching that if I ever it is only 200, and I feel like if you're somebody that glamours a lot of different jobs, that could easily get used very quickly. Also, if you change them up for like holidays, blah blah blah.
My god, that's not what it's supposed to be used for.
But then what is bothering me though is that you can't just register it and then delete the item. Like if I decide to put a Shisui set in now and then I'm like, oh, I really want that space for something else, I remove the Shisui set and get rid of it, I have to get the item again or keep it on my retainer. And I feel like that still wastes the space.
That makes sense though. I'm not mad about that.
But like other games let you just register it to your catalog, delete it, and never worry about it. You have it forever.
There's a philosophy that Blizzard has talked about before when they run into problems, such as inventory management. Instead of just saying, well, how do we solve this problem? Oh, give them more inventory slots. Right. They ask, why does the problem happen? Because the more items you put into the game, you're eventually going to have the exact same problem again. So you're right. For you or for me who has literally just one job that we glamour, fine, no big deal. But when you are someone who role plays or glamours a multitude of jobs, with every expansion, you're going to be adding more and more shit anyhow. So this, sure, gives us a few more spaces right now. Saddlebags, great. We have a little bit more inventory. Increasing stacks from 99 to 999, cool. That helps now, but you're just going to run into the problem again down the road.
Okay.
Yes.
So making it a catalog where you can get an item, register to your catalog, delete it, and have that glamour forever makes so much more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, but not in a game where you have to pay per month and per retainer.
Okay.
To have access to those items still.
No, he's true, because if they made a catalog, I would be able to delete all my retainers.
Exactly. Yeah, you would be able to get rid of all of your retainers, and you'd have no reason to keep the gear. You could drop the gear or cash it in.
Yeah.
And basically what Square Enix is saying is like, yeah, you can't do that yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I have a feeling that if this game ever goes free to play, that will be one of the things that gets unlocked in a hurry, right? That this goes from being the fucking glamour commodes to now it's a glamour catalog.
Or you can buy extra commodes
because that's
or a one-time purchase. Yep.
You know, I would be fine with that if it's a one-time purchase.
A one-time purchase?
If I could have multiple commodes, then okay, fine.
$5 for another 200 slots.
I mean, 200 per commode seems pretty reasonable.
It seems, yeah. If 200 was like the base, and you can have more than one commode, then okay, fine.
And the reason that's better than retainers is because retainers you're paying for every month.
Yeah, exactly.
Did WoW ever have retainers? No. No,
WoW was smart. They only had like cosmetic, stupid pets and mounts in their cash shop.
Yeah. So
now
anyway,
we have emotes in ours.
I would like to point out that even though WoW's been along twice as long as Square Enix, I'm pretty sure there's more stuff in Square Enix's cash shop than World of Warcraft.
Way more.
And discounting all the stupid holiday shit that you could have gotten previously.
Yep.
And we're gonna end today talking about the duty recorder.
And do you guys remember me bringing this up back when?
Yeah.
You sure that wasn't Ascalia?
That was definitely me. Because all of you guys called me fucking crazy. Or some facsimile thereof.
No. What? Here's how it went down, because I remember exactly how it went down. We were talking about Stone, Sky, and Sea. Remember the dummies that
I remember the dummies.
you test your DPS up against? Yeah. And before we had gotten the feature, we had said, oh, maybe it's going to be like a fight DVR. And all of us said, nah, that's not going to happen. It was in reference to that one specific event. We didn't say it would never happen ever categorically, but we did say that's not what Stone, Sky, and Sea is.
Yeah, if you want us to say otherwise, you'll have to specifically find the episode.
There's absolutely no way I'm going to do that.
Okay, cool.
Exactly. So,
so we can just take
all of the wind out of your sails about saying that you were right now.
We should just do that all the time.
I would tell the chat to do that for me, but I know they won't.
Oh, no.
So now, okay, we are getting a fight DVR, which is basically
technically a dungeon DVR. Isn't just the whole dungeon you can use this on?
I don't know that. I don't know. I have no idea.
It says from instance duties, so
the entire instance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Sure.
So it could be a dungeon, it could be a raid, it could be.
But here's the thing:
a trial.
Because Square Enix, in typical Square Enix fashion, doesn't want anyone to get harassed about their performance. Everyone in the party has got to consent.
Yup. A record ready check must be initiated, and all players must consent.
Because God forbid someone have their shitty performance recorded and then used against them to keep them out of groups.
Like, that is like the last thing I would even think of. The only thing I think of when I hear about this is like watching my character do super awesome backflips and casting awesome spells. But Square Enix immediately goes to, what if someone records me being a bad?
And of course,
well, isn't already stream on Twitch without other players' consent? So what's the difference?
Well, yeah, because you don't
they can do to stop that.
You don't need other players' consent to stream on Twitch. That's never been an intrinsic part of Twitch or MMOs.
The duty recorder lets you actually view the recording through the other player's perspective.
From other players' perspectives. Yeah.
True. So they are. It is recording quite a bit more than something like FF logs. Right? And you're getting much more of a, intimate view of how that player is playing.
This seems really useful for raiders.
It does.
I can see where you fucked up.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And among your raid group, you're never probably going to run into a situation where someone is going to be a bitch about consenting to the record feature.
Exactly.
But you're going to run into it in pugs all the time.
But why would you want to record a pug just for the screenshots?
Or if you're like Samus and being a pug hero and that's the way that you're trying to clear content and you want to use it for yourself to try to get better.
That's fair.
Right?
A few things, reading through this. First of all, the duty record feature will not be applied to all duties when first implemented.
Oh my God.
And you may change your perspective to any battle object, which includes pets.
Yes.
Glad they included that. Let me make sure my pet's doing his job.
Wait, any battle objects? So like that one in like fucking where you can pick up the barrels and move them. Can you like switch to the barrels?
I guess so.
No, it is much more like anything that's sending out moves, anything that's sending out damage. I think you can probably switch to that perspective. So if there are ads, you can get into the ads perspective. You can get into the main boss's perspective. So, but the thing is that we don't know if you can see it right down to what they're hitting on their UI. I don't think that the system would be complicated enough to record every single button press.
Keep in mind, this isn't an actual recording because they say, please note that you will not be able to view past recordings after patch updates. This is because the feature is replaying the battle itself using the battle system and not recording a video. Therefore, when there are job adjustments and such, it will not be able to play with those previous statuses as they were.
Right, exactly. And that No. That makes sense. Basically, what it is it's recording the state of battle and replaying all of the moves that each one of the characters makes in battle. If you take FF logs as an example, FF logs logged every single action that a player did from the start of battle to the end of battle. This is doing the exact same thing and then playing it out in real time using the actual battle system. Now, once there is an update to the battle system where they've adjusted the way that damage calculation works, the way that maybe a timer is set, it will disrupt if you try to replay that fight through that battle system. It's not going to log every fucking battle change ever and go back to, oh, this happened at 4.2. Let's rewind from 4.5 rules back to 4.2 rules to be able to show you the battle as it took place.
In the actual game engine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the way that you're able to switch perspectives. Because if it was just recording video, fucking OBS does that.
Yeah, you would just be watching your perspective again.
Exactly.
And I don't think they'd be able to use like rotates and blah, 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 blah. And
does
stuff
it
like
keep
that.
track of like where you are, like placement on the map and stuff?
Yeah.
It
has to, right?
It tracks everyone's position.
It sounds like the same thing that they're using in like Overwatch right now for replays.
Yes. And that's virtually the same fucking thing.
And it's in FF14?
Yeah.
It's so weird. For me now going forward, a little off the FF subject, but any esports that doesn't put this in their game now, like you have no excuse.
Yeah,
FF14 just did it.
Well, I mean, I think it's a pretty and in a in an environment where you have to have cooperation and a little bit of competition between players, I think that this is absolutely appropriate. I do think that it's bullshit to make everyone in the fucking party consent to it. Yeah. That's horseshit.
In fact,
I mean, are you sure that's not like the same thing though as like, oh, when you're on the radio, you have to let them know they're on the radio in order to continue the call?
No, that's a law. That's a law.
Right, but why does that law exist? It exists for a lot of reasons, and I feel like if you're going to record someone's gameplay and then watch something back from their perspective, they have to know you're doing.
No, you want to know why that exists? It's because so many fucking people got on a Jerky Boys album and didn't realize it in the late 80s, early 90s, and then they got pissed and ended up suing the people who printed it on a CD.
Question for you.
That's why Crank Yankers as a show went away. That's why you don't have any more Jerky Boys. That's why you don't have any more prank calls on the radio.
Candid Camera.
It has way more to do with the laws surrounding recording phone calls and what constitutes a legal recording of phone calls. By the way, that's only applied to individuals, not the government recording our phone calls. That's why that became a thing.
Couldn't they make it so that if someone doesn't consent, you just don't get access to their perspective?
Nope. I think that's way more programming than the.
And also, you'd be able to see them over, and
Yeah,
you can see them when you play anyhow, or like you said, if you record it on Twitch.
No, but think about what consent is in this situation is meant to solve. The problem that they're looking to solve is that someone not consenting to this feature and being recorded and then subsequently being judged afterwards because of their performance.
It's to take any liability off them, to be like, oh, this asshole was recording me and I didn't, This way they say, well, you said it was okay.
But do they have to do that? Like, isn't that a game? Like, game companies can allow people to be fucking people. Right? Like, they're protecting themselves on a level that they don't need to protect themselves.
Yes, they're going way further than they need to.
Yeah.
Like, if someone came to Square and says, oh, they're judging me.
They're harassing me because I didn't do good at your game. That's not Square-Enix's fucking problem.
Nope. They've already given you the tools to stop that with the block list.
Yeah. And if harassment through the game client is Square-Enix's problem. If someone posts a YouTube video of someone and they're getting fucking harassed because of their performance in a YouTube video on the YouTube video itself, that's not Square-Enix's problem. They don't need to figure out development solutions around that problem. Think about this. This was probably at least an entire week's worth of discussion in the FF14 offices to figure out, well, how do we broach the problem of people being harassed potentially through this system. Think of how much development time that wastes.
I don't want to think. Like, actually, that's one of the things that I was going to bring up today is when you look at this, the amount of work that probably went into just the PvP and the battle recorder and the Glamour commodes alone far outweighs, I think, what everything probably went into the MSQ. Basically, what we would consider the core concept of the games.
Yep.
It's bullshit.
Yep. 100%.
I'm not going to disagree with you there.
I mean, all you got to do is just look at the notes to figure out where Square-Enix is putting their time.
There was a fucking Kotaku article, and this was the first thing I saw before even anybody else, started talking about the live letter and what the patch notes were. A Kotaku article that said the where the new patch shines isn't in the MSQ or the dungeon; it's in everything else. And when I read it, I vomited all over my computer.
No, you didn't.
Hyperbolically, I sure did.
So, I mean,
So, did you say you had to, specifically queue for a duty recording?
No. I think when you queue at the beginning, it'll ask you, do you consent to recording? And if everyone hits yes, if you have it enabled, it'll record it.
It sounded like, from what they outlined on the thing, that it was a different queue that you throw yourself into.
But if that was the case, then they wouldn't have to consent to it. It would already be.
You would be consenting to the queue itself.
Unless you forgot that it was checked.
Yeah. And that would further divide the potential queues.
Personally, if there is a duty recording queue, I'm going to queue up for that only. And then when the consent pops up, I'm going to click no.
You're a dick.
Well, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but...
it means I'm a dick.
He's an epic troll because that's what.
But being designed that way doesn't make any sense.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
is that you're exposing the flaws of the design. That doesn't necessarily make you the dick.
Square-Enix needs someone like me to point out the flaws in their plan. I'm doing them a favor.
Hire Juxta. Take him off our hands.
No.
You don't have to pay him that much.
Do we really want Juxta to work for this game?
No, not at all. No, I think that would be really bad.
Push forward the bunny suit male outfit.
That would be his first agenda.
That? When are we getting that?
We're never getting that.
Never.
The fact that I keep bringing it up, saying it's coming, means we are never getting it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys.
Just one of many Yoshi P lies.
That's going to do it for Limit Break Radio for today. Thanks, guys, for joining us and for calling in. Again, if you want
Ryoku.
Yes, Ryoku, Carletta, and Keda. Yeah, Keda Mercer of Zalera. Thank you guys for calling in today. If you're listening on the podcast, first of all, know that we're not going to be live for the next 2 weeks. So if you want to come to the Twitch channel and you want to follow, do that. But for the next 2 Sundays, we're going to be off, which I'm actually really looking forward to.
Right? Yes, thank you.
And it's not, listen, we love spending time with you guys, but the thing is that we really do need a little bit of rest here. So,
well, I mean, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, I don't expect anyone to even be sitting around listening to us.
Yeah, I don't either.
And plus, I'll be working at my real job.
That sucks. Ha! Yeah, that you actually have to work on those days.
Wait, do you get time and a half for?
I mean, no.
Oh, well, then it does suck.
No, because
except you forget where I work.
The last 2 weeks, he has actually 2 weeks in a row beat his record for most tip money made.
I made $500,000 in tips alone this week.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you must be like the best pizza person ever.
So I mean, yeah. If you're not wrong, if you don't mind it, and I guess it's better than being at home with a stupid baby.
I mean, no, I love my baby because she's the best.
Being at home with a stupid mom.
Just kidding, Fairbear. I love you.
But anyway, yeah, we're going to be enjoying the holidays with our family. We would invite you to do the same. We will have some vodcasts that are going down on Sunday, so if you want to tune into those, feel free. But we make really no promises. The next 2 weeks we are literally off. And in those 2 weeks, we're going to be working on a couple of things. I'm going to be working on a couple of things. I'm going to be working on the LVR Network site. I'm going to be working on reimaging for Let's Be Real. And kind of getting ready for 2018. So we've got some checkpoint stuff that is going to be going down in 2018 that we're super excited about. And I want to thank everyone before we get off the air here for an amazing 2017. Even though 2017 as a year may not be the most well-remembered year historically, it was a very good year for us here at Limit Break Radio LLC. We launched an entirely new show. It's been picked up in 43 stations and cities across the United States and Canada. That has been truly amazing, and that has happened through your support, not just through patreon.com/limitbreakradio, which if you want to support, that's how you do it, but just through you guys listening and being there and being a part of the audience and giving us your feedback, engaging with the content, whether it be good or bad, positive, negative, trolly, encouraging, whatever the spectrum of engagement and response has been. I do want to thank you, because that's why we do this. We don't do this to be respected. We don't do this to be liked or loved. We don't need that kind of validation. We do this to start a conversation. And to start a conversation, you do need people listening. So even if you don't give, even if you've just listened over the past year, over the past 3 years, over the past 11 years that we've been doing this project,
LBR/FX/checkpoint forever.
And
Happy holidays.
Lauro comes in and
ruined your
undercuts my entire point. But
thank you, Lauro.
Because it was a beautiful sentiment.
It is, and thank you
LBR forever.
Thank you very much for the support. The dollars do mean a lot, but if you're one of those people who have been in a financial position in 2017 where you haven't been able to financially support, and we do get it, because listen, man, times are tough and they're about to get tougher.
Yeah,
we know that. Okay, we really do appreciate all of your support, whether it be through Patreon, whether it be through PayPal donations, whether it be through subbing to the channel. You guys have made 2017 go from a year where we were taking a lot of risks to a year where we have been able to lay the groundwork for something really incredible in 2018. And we're going to do it through Checkpoint Radio, but I think that 2018 is going to go down as the year that Checkpoint really found its feet, found its own as a show, and found a huge audience. And that all starts with you guys. Whether you're listening on Twitch, whether you're listening on a podcast, whether you're tweeting, at us or about us, or just using the hashtag LBR, let's be real, whatever it is. Just any amount of small engagement, right down to just listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. does more good and more help than you even realize. So even if you hate the show and you're listening, I want to thank you, because whether you know it or not, you are helping Limit Break Radio continue to move forward into the Let's Be Real phase of the project, and you're helping Checkpoint Radio find its own as well. So thank you all for any amount of support or engagement that you've given us in 2017. We really do thank you. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We hope that you have an amazing rest of 2017, and we are going to see you officially in 2018. We've even got best of shows that are happening for Checkpoint Radio. So we're going to update the news, but that's all you're going to hear of us for at least the better part of 2 weeks. So you guys get a bit of a brief break from us, but we hope that you'll come back in 2018.
Merry Christmas, LVR Network, except Juxta. Fuck that guy.
Fuck you.
JK.
Yes, indeed. Fuck that guy. I want to thank my crew, Nika Kayani and Juxtaposition and Kalo Landis. I'm an hero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. This episode was produced by Aniro Grigori, Kalo Landis, Juxtaposition, and Kooky Persona. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square-Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Satori Komeji, Dark Flux, Null Packet, Shira Heartslot, Nexian Theta, Brian Alexander, Tommy Carlson, Hirsch Versch, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.